Chapter 1703. Yixian, senior brother Huang Su is calling for you. Someone shouted from outside Yixian's residence. Someone's alive again? Yixian narrowed his eyes and rushed out of the door. However, when he saw Huang Su, he realized that things were not as he thought. At this time there were already several official disciples standing beside Huang Su. Their expressions were ugly, and their gazes were all on Yixian. "You're Yixian," a yellow-faced young man said. "Senior brother, you are?" Yixian turned to look at Huang Su. "You don't have to worry about that. I just want to ask you, when you cleaned their mansions earlier, did you not leave any traces behind?" Huang Su asked directly. "Left no traces behind?" Hearing this, Yixian immediately understood. These people were probably the owners of some mansions that he had visited before, and now they were here to investigate. "Senior brother, I was only in charge of cleaning. I didn't touch anything," Yixian hurriedly said, pretending to be confused. Although he was not afraid of these people, there were many spirit immortals and even jade immortals in the void spirit cave. "Are you sure?" The yellow-faced young man widened his eyes. Suddenly, an aura spread out and pressed down on Yixian. "I'm sure." Yixian nodded. "Is there a mistake? Your formation was set up by me. This kid is only a second-tier heaven immortal. He might not even be able to find the mechanism. His immortal sense would also be hidden from the concealment formation, let alone break the formation and take the interspatial ring." A long-haired disciple defended Yixian. Could not be helped. Yixian's realm was too low. As a second-tier heaven immortal, he could barely be a servant disciple. One had to know that this disciple who spoke up for Yixian was already a Tier 9 heavenly immortal. Even a Tier 7 heavenly immortal might not be able to detect the formation he set up. So how could Yixian possibly do that? "Then what do you think is going on? We've only been gone for 2 years and we've been robbed?" the yellow-faced young man said. "But that doesn't mean that it was robbed by a rank 2 heavenly immortal, right?" said the long-haired disciple. Indeed, a rank 2 heavenly immortal was simply too low. This was the crux of the matter. Could it be that a spirit immortal expert has snuck into East Island? Huang Su suddenly said. The other 3 islands don't even bother to come to East Island, but if a disciple in the spirit immortal realm sneaks in, we really won't find out. Since that's the case, let's report it to the higher-ups. In the end, everyone decided to report this matter. Although they didn't lose many things, they couldn't just let this matter go. They had to find the thief. At this moment, Yixian was secretly laughing in his heart, because everything was done by him. However, because he had concealed his true cultivation level, it was impossible to trace it back to him at all. However, the things in the house were actually not much compared to what the disciples had on them. "Old Tree, get ready to move." Yixian narrowed his eyes and transmitted his voice to Old Tree. "No problem." Old Tree in the planting space responded. They had previously discussed that if this matter was exposed, Old Tree, a member of the demon clan who had refined the demon heart, would be the scapegoat. There wasn't even a single spirit immortal in East Island, and Old Tree was already an 8th grade heaven immortal. He was already invincible in East Island. If he were to make a move, no one could stop him. As long as he could rob everyone at lightning speed, he would make a profit. At the thought of this, Yixian directly released Old Tree and the other 2. The appearance of the 2 8th grade heaven immortal experts, Old Tree and Ghost Dome Great Emperor, was immediately noticed by everyone. "Ha ha, prepare to die." Old Tree laughed loudly. In a flash, he appeared in front of the yellow-faced young man and punched him hard. Bam! The yellow-faced young man was a 9th grade heaven immortal. His chest was punched through, and even his immortal heart was in his opponent's hand. "Tisk tsk tsk. Don't move or I'll crush your immortal heart." Old Tree reminded him with a grin. Before anyone could react, Old Tree had already taken off the yellow-faced young man's interspatial ring. At the same time, he threw out the 9 dragons thunder chain. Everyone was instantly trapped. Then it was time for a big fight. Among these people, except for the yellow-faced young man and the long-haired disciple, who were 9th grade heaven immortals, the others were 8th grade and 7th grade heaven immortals. They were no match for Old Tree and the other 2. In an instant they were robbed. Then Old Tree and the other 2 disappeared in an instant. They were taken in by Yixian. In the planting space, Old Tree and the other two handed over the interspatial ring to Yixian. Then they reappeared in the distance. What kind of strength is this? The yellow-faced young man and the others were shocked. While they were still in shock, Old Tree and the other two had already started to wreak havoc. It's them. It's them. They must have robbed us. Come out quickly. Someone has snuck into East Island to steal. In an instant, the atmosphere of the entire East Island livened up. It was a disgrace that a demon clan member who cultivated the demon heart had sneaked into the Hollow Spirit Cave. Immediately, many people began to gather around. As for Yixian, he was watching from below. This is a big deal. Middle Island will definitely sense it. Then, spirit immortals will definitely come to help. I can't stay here any longer. Yixian narrowed his eyes, calculating in his heart. In the past 3 days, he had actually gathered information about many mansions, all of which were uninhabited. He could take this opportunity to rob them. But before that, he had to improve his strength first. Ding! The host has broken through. He is now a 6th grade heaven immortal. Ding! The Ember of Thunderfire has broken through. He is now a 9th grade heaven immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. He is now a 9th grade heaven immortal. Ding! Ghost Dome Emperor has broken through. He is now a 9th grade heaven immortal. Those interspatial rings were enough for Yixian to break through. Because there were people around just now, Yixian did not break through immediately. Now Old Tree was the real invincible heaven immortal. Even if a spirit immortal came, a low-level spirit immortal might not be able to stop him. Yixian, don't be a coward. Even if a spirit immortal comes, let me do it. I want to snatch something. At this time, a voice suddenly came from the plant space. It was the little demon king. Okay. Yixian immediately agreed. With the little demon king taking action, this was the best. In the sky above East Island, there was already a big fight. However, Old Tree and the other two people who had broken through to 9th grade heaven immortal were extraordinarily strong. Especially Old Tree, who had merged with the purple extreme demon heart and possessed the purple extreme demon flame. His strength had increased significantly. He could even withstand the attack of a 9th grade heaven immortal. Moreover, no one could catch up with his speed. There were many disciples in East Island, more than 500 people, but there were only about 10 9th grade heaven immortals. These 10 people were the mainstays of East Island, but they could do nothing when facing Old Tree. Chapter 1704. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. He is now a 7th grade heaven immortal. Ding! The Ember of Thunderfire has made a breakthrough. He is now a 1st grade spiritual immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has made a breakthrough. He is now a 1st grade spiritual immortal. Ding! The Ghost Dome Emperor has made a breakthrough. He is now a 1st grade spiritual immortal. The Old Tree and the others broke through the shackles of the heaven immortal and became spiritual immortals. However, at this moment a few powerful disciples finally arrived. What's the situation in East Island? 3 disciples flew over. Yixian sensed them and found that he could not see through them even though he was a 7th grade heaven immortal. They are at least 3rd grade spiritual immortals. Yixian squinted his eyes. Spiritual immortals were the mainstream cultivation level in this small grotto heaven. East Island was full of heaven immortals because it was called the Island of Newcomers. The disciples with potential were in the other 3 islands. The strongest was the North Island. It was said that there were even 9th grade spiritual immortal disciples there. Let me out and kill them. Little Demon King of Chaos shouted. Sure. Yixian did not waste any more time and directly released Little Demon in front of the 3 spiritual immortal disciples. Yixian, who was already a 7th grade heaven immortal, still could not see through Little Demon. However, judging from Little Demon's appearance, it should not be a problem. At most he could just run away. TSK TSK TSK. I like robbing people like you. Give me your things. Little Demon laughed sinisterly and instantly arrived in front of the 3 spiritual immortal disciples. With a few bangs he sent the 3 of them flying and took their interspatial rings at the same time. There was nothing to say about his strength. Yixian, I'll be right back. Little Demon sent a voice transmission to Yixian and directly flew out. Meanwhile, the battle in East Island was still going on. However, it only lasted for 5 seconds before it ended. 5 seconds later, all the disciples in East Island were robbed. They were all seriously injured, including the dozen 9th grade Heaven Immortals. At the same time, Yi Xian's cultivation level increased again. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. He is now a Tier 8 Heavenly Immortal. However, this time the 3 from the old tree did not break through. After all, after breaking through to the Spirit Immortal realm, they would need a lot more experience, but it would be soon. With my current state, I think I can go to the South Island. Yi Xian thought for a moment, then secretly tore open the void and came to the entrance of the minor paradise. Just now, when the old tree and the other 2 looted East Island, no one knew that it had anything to do with him. After all, he was only a Tier 2 Heaven Immortal. At this moment, he had changed his appearance and was ready to enter the South Island. Hey, where did this demonic cultivator come from? How dare you make trouble in my void spirit cave? You're courting death. Everyone be careful. This little thing's strength is extraordinary. So fast. Roars of rage could be heard continuously from the horizon. Those were the sounds of the battle between the little demon king of chaos and the experts of the Grotto Heaven. Yi Xian's heart trembled. This little demon king of chaos was truly powerful. He could actually fight against all the experts of the Grotto Heaven alone. Who knew what level he had cultivated to? At this moment, Yi Xian had already entered the South Island. This void spirit cave was divided into 4 islands: East, South, West, and North. East Island was the weakest. It didn't even have a spiritual immortal. South Island was second. The strongest was a Tier 3 spiritual immortal. The 3 disciples just now came from the South Island. After Yi Xian entered the South Island, he immediately released the old tree and the other 2 and looted them again. Who's there? As soon as the old tree appeared, the demonic chi emitted by the demonic heart immediately attracted the attention of others. However, the old tree was now a Tier 1 spiritual immortal. So were the Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhentian. When they joined forces, they were almost invincible in the South Island. Moreover, Yi Xian was secretly assisting them. Ding! Control successful. Ding! Control successful. Ding! Control successful. System notifications rang one after another. Yi Xian kept controlling those Tier 8 and Tier 9 Heaven Immortals. Soon there were 50 of them. Yi Xian took all the items of these 50 people and then joined the battle. All of a sudden, the South Island began to fight among itself. After Yi Xian devoured those interspatial rings, the old tree and the other 2's realms finally improved. Tier 2 spiritual immortal. Now no one in the South Island could stop them. Chapter 1705. Do you still want to go back? I can send you back to the Grotto Heaven in an instant. Yi Xian suddenly smiled. Of course I'm going. That bastard chased me for 5 days and 5 nights. How can I not take revenge? Little Devil narrowed his eyes and said, Send me back. I'll loot the Grotto Heaven. After that, I'll give you 1% of the loot. Only 1%. Yi Xian exclaimed. 1% is not enough? Little Devil looked at Yi Xian with disdain and said, Hurry up. That guy seems to be on his way back. Yi Xian thought about it and felt that the deal was not bad. After all, he was only responsible for opening the door. In that Grotto Heaven, there was only a 6th grade Jade Immortal guarding it. There were also several 1st grade and 2nd grade Jade Immortals. If Little Devil went back, he could loot all of them. At that time, 1% of the loot would be enough for him to level up several times. At that moment, Yi Xian directly broke through the void and returned to the Grotto Heaven. Let's do it. Little Devil rushed over impatiently. This time Yi Xian did not go in. He just watched from the outside, ready to open the void door and leave at any time. It had been 10 days since the last time he made a scene in the Grotto Heaven. At this time, the 6th grade Jade Immortal had not returned, so no one in the Grotto Heaven was a match for Little Devil. Soon, the little demon king of chaos ransacked this small paradise and left in a hurry. Let's go. The little demon king of chaos arrived in front of Yi Xian. Then, the latter opened the void door again and quickly passed through. This process took less than half a minute. Even the 6th grade Jade Immortal could not do anything. At this time, Yi Xian returned to the cliff with Little Devil. Give it to me. Yi Xian stretched out his hand without hesitation. Take it, take it. Little Devil of Chaos was also very generous. He directly threw a ring of heaven and earth to Yi Xian, which contained a large number of natural materials and earthly treasures. He said, "Follow me in the future and I will definitely not treat you badly. Now send me in. I will refine everything and try to refine a pair of devil wings. Then, even if there is a good flying sword, it won't be able to catch up with me." Yi Xian's eyes lit up when he received the universe ring. Then, he put Little Demon King into his planting space. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a Tier 9 Heavenly Immortal. Ding! The host has broken through and is now a first stage Spirit Immortal. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a second stage Spirit Immortal. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a third stage Spirit Immortal. This time, Yi Xian had jumped 4 realms consecutively and directly broke through to the third stage of the Spirit Immortal realm. In addition, the old tree and the other 2 had also broken through to the 6th stage Spiritual Immortal realm. He estimated that if he devoured all the spoils of war, he would at least be able to reach the 6th stage. However, he was not in a hurry. As long as Little Demon King's realm increased, he could go back and rob the 6th stage Jade Immortal realm again. When that time came, what was there to be afraid of? While Little Demon King was cultivating, Yi Xian hid far away in order to avoid being found by the 6th stage Jade Immortal realm. Until the 3rd day. Kid, I estimate that I will be able to finish cultivating in 3 more days. When that time comes, we will continue. There are a total of 36 small grotto heavens under the Void Spirit Grotto Heaven. I will rob all of them, Little Demon King said. No problem. Yi Xian grinned. This time he had gotten a big leg. His luck was really good. Yi Xian gave Little Demon King a place to cultivate, and every time Little Demon King robbed, he would give Yi Xian a lot of things. The 2 complemented each other, and their cultivation levels soared. 3 days later, Little Demon King finished cultivating. Yi Xian, a 3rd stage Spiritual Immortal, still could not see through Little Demon King's cultivation level. Let's go. Send me back. I want to catch that 6th stage Jade Immortal, Little Demon King said. Okay. Yi Xian had already calculated this. He immediately opened the void door and returned to the small grotto heaven. At this time, the 6th stage Jade Immortal had already returned. He had already reported the matter of Little Demon King, but no one had come to help. Old man, I am here for revenge. Little Demon King's voice arrived before his body. When the 6th stage Jade Immortal in the small grotto heaven heard it, he immediately flashed to the sky. What? When the 6th stage Jade Immortal felt the aura of Little Demon King, he was shocked. In just a few days, Little Demon King had grown to a level that even he could not see through. How was this possible? However, what he did not know was that 50 days of cultivation in the planted space was only 1 day in the outside world. Little Demon King had cultivated in the planted space for 6 days, which was equivalent to 300 days. In addition, Little Demon King was the reincarnation of an expert. His cultivation speed was very fast, and ordinary people could not catch up with him. Before the 6th stage Jade Immortal could speak, the pair of black horns on Little Demon King's head suddenly flickered twice. Then, a rapidly expanding shadow extended from Little Demon King's body. Heavenly Demon Great Technique. Heavenly Demon Deterrence. In an instant, an extremely strong pressure descended on everyone's body, causing them to be unable to move. Not to mention the Spiritual Immortals, even the 1st and 2nd stage Jade Immortals and the 6th stage Jade Immortals could not move. Yi Xian, take everyone in. Little Demon King suddenly transmitted his voice. What? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and did not react for a moment. They are so shocked by me that they can't move. Take this grotto heaven. Little Demon King explained. Hearing this, Yi Xian glanced at him and found that the 6th stage Jade Immortal's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He really could not move. Who are you? The 6th stage Jade Immortal finally opened his mouth and spat out a sentence. Even if it is the Spirit Void Cave Master in front of me, he is also an existence akin to an ant. Even this Navy Tide Nation's ruler cannot enter my eyes. Little Demon King of Chaos said. Cave Master of Spirit Void, Lord of Navy Tide? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. A golden immortal expert had once appeared in Spirit Void Grotto Heaven. However, a golden immortal was an ant in front of the Lord of Navy Tide. Among the 108 grotto heavens under Navy Tide, Spirit Void Grotto Heaven was ranked at the bottom, and the Lord of Navy Tide was a super expert of the true immortal level. Immortal, Heaven Immortal, Spirit Immortal, Jade Immortal, Golden Immortal, Mystic Immortal, Zhanxian. In other words, the Lord of Navy Tide was an expert of the 7th stage immortal. Such an existence was actually not worthy of the Little Demon King's attention. Could it be that Little Demon King was a demonic cultivator of the golden immortal level that surpassed the true immortal level? Gulp. Thinking of this, the 6th stage Jade Immortal could not help but swallow his saliva. Yixian did not understand so much. At this time, he was already using the planting space to take in all the people in the Grotto Heaven. Chapter 1706. In less than 3 minutes, everyone, including the 6th grade Jade Immortal, was sucked into the planting space. Not a single one was left. Then, Yixian moved the entire Hollow Spirit Grotto Heaven into the planting space. Ding! The planting space's level has increased, currently at level 9. At this moment, the system suddenly gave a notification. The planting space had finally leveled up after so many experts moved in. Hearing this, Yixian's eyes couldn't help but light up. He hurriedly checked and found that the flow of time in the planting space had increased by 100 times. 3 months of cultivation in the planting space was equivalent to only 1 day in the outside world. Not bad, not bad. Yixian grinned. Although the planting space's improvement didn't benefit him much, it was a good thing for Luo Luo. Although Luo Luo had been cultivating recently with continuous cultivation resources, she had already broken through to the Spirit Immortal level. But now there was something more important to do. He could also get 1% of the spoils of the 6th grade Jade Immortal. Take it, your spoils of war. In the planting space, Little Demon divided the spoils of war and gave them to Yixian. After devouring them, Yixian's cultivation level increased again. He jumped 2 levels and reached the 5th grade Spirit Immortal level. Old Tree and the other 2 instantly broke through to the 8th grade Spirit Immortal level. These days, their cultivation levels increased so quickly that Yixian couldn't believe it himself. Let's go to the next Grotto Heaven. I want to sweep through this entire Hollow Spirit Grotto Heaven. Little Demon said. The Hollow Spirit Grotto Heaven was ranked at the bottom of the 108 Grotto Heavens in Navy Tide Nation. However, there were still 36 small Grotto Heavens. This time, Little Demon wanted to sweep through all 36 small Grotto Heavens. Although Yixian only got 1% of the spoils of war, he could break through without any effort. How could he let go of such a good opportunity? Next, Yixian came to a small Hollow Spirit Grotto Heaven after a few more twists and turns. In this small Hollow Spirit Grotto Heaven, the strongest person was still a 6th grade Jade Immortal. Therefore, the scene from that day was repeated. Everyone was taken into the planting space by Yixian. Following that, Yixian and the others continued with their mission. In the following month, the Hollow Spirit Cave lost 18 small caves and all of them disappeared. However, the culprits were only 2 people. One was a devil cultivator and the other was a cultivator. A month later, Yixian's cultivation level rose to Tier 1 Jade Immortal, while Old Tree and the others were Tier 4 Jade Immortals. This strength was already very strong. Kid, my realm has been restored to the Jade Immortal realm. Now, even a Golden Immortal can't do anything to me. Our next destination is the Void Spirit Grotto Heaven. Little Demon King of Chaos said directly. What? You're a Jade Immortal? Yixian raised an eyebrow and exclaimed. Jade Immortal. He was now a rank 1 Jade Immortal, but this Little Demon King of Chaos was also a rank 1 Jade Immortal. At the same level, the Eye of Revelation couldn't see through him. How strong was Little Demon King of Chaos? What's there to be surprised about? At my peak, I could destroy Navy Tide with a wave of my hand. I'm Little Demon King of Chaos Chisu, one of the 18 heavenly kings under the Shura sovereign of the Devil Realm. Little Demon King of Chaos snorted coldly. Devil Realm Shura sovereign, one of the 18 heavenly kings, Chisu? Yixian narrowed his eyes slightly. Only now did he know Little Demon King of Chaos's name. The Devil Realm is the same as the Immortal Realm. It's the world of devil cultivators. There used to be a demon realm, but it's gone now. I fought my way from the Devil Realm to the Immortal Realm, but I was tricked in the Immortal Realm, so I reincarnated and started cultivating again. I didn't expect to encounter someone with the original devil body. Little Demon King of Chaos said. Sounds very powerful. Yixian couldn't help but flatter him. At the same time, he quickly pondered in his heart for a moment. The Shura sovereign of the Devil Realm must be an existence that everyone knew, and Little Demon King of Chaos was one of the 18 heavenly kings under the Shura sovereign. His status was definitely not low. Therefore, he estimated that this Little Demon King of Chaos could be squeezed to the level of a top expert in the Devil Realm. He must curry favor with him. Let's go to that Spirit Void Grotto Heaven and try to get the materials. Then I'll go into seclusion to condense a pair of devil wings. Little Demon King of Chaos continued. He had said before that he wanted to condense a pair of devil wings, but he didn't have the materials, so he couldn't do it. And this Spirit Void Grotto Heaven was a top power in Navy Tide Nation. A golden immortal expert had once appeared, so his strength was definitely not small. Although this golden immortal had fallen in a great battle, his foundation was still very rich. Yixian, a first-grade Jade Immortal, was not qualified, but Old Tree and the others were actually enough to go to the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven to make a scene. What's more, there was a super expert like Little Demon King of Chaos, so what was there to be afraid of? Immediately, Yixian began to hurry on his way. Although they were all wanted recently, it didn't matter. After all, Yixian had the means to change his appearance, and it was impossible to see through it. After all, this was face-changing, not disguising. A few days later, Yixian arrived at the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven. Previously, they had patronized small grotto heavens, but now it was the real Spirit Void Grotto Heaven. Immediately, Little Demon King of Chaos rushed in and set off a reign of terror in the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven. Although the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven had no enmity with Little Demon King of Chaos, the immortal realm was actually similar to the mortal realm. It was a world where the strong preyed on the weak, and the weak were always the first to be eliminated. However, the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven was still a grotto heaven, and there were records in Navy Tide Nation. Even stronger grotto heavens were not allowed to attack it, or they would be wanted by Navy Tide Nation. However, Little Demon King of Chaos was not afraid. There was only one golden immortal expert in the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven, and there were no other golden immortals. Therefore, Little Demon King of Chaos had no opponent at all. In less than 3 minutes, the entire Spirit Void Grotto Heaven was looted. However, there was a 9th-grade Jade Immortal in the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven, and Little Demon King of Chaos couldn't suppress him yet. Therefore, after looting everything, he left in a hurry. Here, take 1% of your loot. In the planting space, Little Demon King of Chaos threw another interspatial ring to Yixian. The wealth of the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven was much more than the total wealth of the 36 small grotto heavens. Although Yixian only got 1%, it was still a lot of benefits. Ding! Host has broken through, and is now a 2nd-grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through, and is now a 3rd-grade Jade Immortal. This time he jumped 2 levels in a row. However, just as Yixian was secretly delighted, a shadow suddenly condensed in the sky. How dare you join hands with demonic cultivators to loot the Spirit Void Grotto Heaven? A loud shout rang in Yixian's ears. Chapter 1707. Who's there? Yixian's heart trembled. He didn't even notice how the other party appeared. Moreover, why would the investigation lead to him? Speak, where is that demonic cultivator? The golden armored man shouted angrily. Senior, what demonic cultivator? Yixian asked curiously. Still quibbling? My Navy Tide Nation was built in an immortal artifact. I saw everything you did clearly. Every time that demonic cultivator robbed the Void Spirit Grotto Heaven, you were nearby. How dare you say it has nothing to do with you? The golden armored man snorted. Hearing this, Yixian's expression changed drastically. He didn't expect his trick to be seen through. He just didn't know where this golden armored man came from. He actually had such great ability. Of course, what surprised Yixian the most was that this Navy Tide Nation was actually an immortal artifact. Little Demon King, wake up quickly. We're in big trouble. Yixian immediately shouted in his heart. However, the Little Demon King had already set up a formation in the planting space and started to cultivate. In other words, he was condensing his so-called devil wings. The planting space was Yixian's territory. In principle, the Little Demon King had to listen to his orders after entering the planting space. However, this little demon king's methods were heaven-defying. Even the planting space couldn't control him. To put it simply, Yixian couldn't wake the little demon king. Damn it, this guy's really fast. Yixian cursed angrily. However, he could only blame the planting space for being too slow. A second outside was 100 seconds inside. Not going to talk? Fine. Seeing Yixian remain silent, the golden-armored man shouted in a low voice and clapped his hands. Enter the Black Devil prison. A hole suddenly split open in the ground. Yixian, who was already unable to move, fell straight in. This feeling was similar to when he first entered the immortal tomb. Yixian could only watch helplessly as he left the ground and approached the earth's core. However, Yixian heaved a sigh of relief. He thought he was going to die there. The falling process lasted for several days. During these few days, Yixian couldn't move at all. At the same time, the little demon king in the planting space didn't wake up either. It should be known that more than a year had passed in the planting space. What the hell is that black demon prison? Why haven't we arrived yet? Yixian felt very helpless, but at this moment, he suddenly felt a cold aura behind him. Then he saw himself falling into a dark abyss. His surroundings were empty, and there was no living thing. At the same time, he also felt that he could finally move his body. Is this the Black Devil prison? Yixian raised his eyebrows. The Black Devil prison sounded like a prison, but he didn't expect it to be located below. At that moment, Yixian hurriedly used his Eye of the Void to see if he could leave this damned place. However, just as he had expected, the Eyes of the Void could not be used. This was bad. This is a tragedy. I don't know what level a third-grade Jade Immortal is in here. Yixian wanted to cry but had no tears. Since he couldn't leave, he could only investigate the Black Devil prison first. The Black Devil prison was dark, but Yixian, who had the Eye of Revelation, did not feel any discomfort. Now that the little demon king was in seclusion, he could only rely on him. Old Tree, Ghost Dome Great Emperor, Wei Zhentian, go and explore. Just in case, Yixian summoned the Old Tree and the other two. Okay. The Old Tree, who was already a 6th-grade Jade Immortal, responded and quickly rushed out. The exploration of the Black Devil prison was left to them. Because it was unlimited resurrection, there should be no problem. Young master, I caught a 1st-grade Jade Immortal. After a while, the Old Tree suddenly shouted. Hearing this, Yixian quickly rushed over and saw a man whose immortal heart was caught by the Old Tree. Ding! Control successful. With Yixian's 3rd-grade Jade Immortal realm, he instantly controlled the other party, and then searched his soul. The Black Devil prison was originally used to imprison demonic cultivators in Navy Tide Nation, but it was later turned into a prison for prisoners. Once they made a mistake, they would be directly attacked and left to fend for themselves. Because there was no way out. No way out? That's impossible, right? Yixian narrowed his eyes and carefully searched the man's soul. He found that there was a way out, but it was extremely dangerous. For millions of years, no one had succeeded. This time, it was really King over. The way out is called the Mountain of Corpses and the Sea of Blood. No matter who goes in, only death awaits. Even mystic immortals are the same. Yixian's heart trembled. He was now a Jade Immortal, followed by a Golden Immortal, and then a Mystic Immortal. Even a Mystic Immortal could not successfully leave. It seemed that this was dangerous enough. However, it was not completely impossible for him to leave, because he still had the little demon king. Moreover, this Black Devil prison had been established for countless years, and there were probably countless prisoners inside. When the time came, as long as he ransacked it, he might be able to kill his way out. There are even mystic immortal demonic cultivators in this Black Devil prison, and I can't use the Eyes of the Void now, so I have to be careful. Otherwise, these two doppelgangers will be in trouble. Yixian's eyes flickered as he thought to himself. There was no map in this Black Devil prison, so he could not copy it in unless he explored it himself. He did not know when the little demon king would come out of seclusion. Sigh, I'll just take one step at a time. Yixian sighed. Who asked him to be so unlucky to be discovered by the patrol of Navy Tide Nation? Fortunately, he did not lose his life. This Black Devil prison was extremely dangerous. Not to mention that there was no way out, just the countless demonic cultivators and ferocious immortal cultivators inside was enough to make him suffer. Therefore, Yixian had to be extremely careful. In this way, he could only let Old Tree and the other two explore the way. However, at this moment, ding, the host has triggered a random task, escape from the Black Devil prison. The reward for completing the task is to unlock the second immortal auxiliary bloodline column. Suddenly, a system notification sounded. After hearing this, Yixian's eyes lit up. He had not triggered a random task for a long time, and today it finally came. Haha, the second auxiliary bloodline column needs at least 3 devour points to unlock. Not bad, not bad. Yixian grinned. With this random task, he also had the motivation to level up. However, it was not so easy to get out of the Black Devil prison. Ding, the host's killing intent has increased. Ding, the host's killing intent has increased. Ding, the host's killing intent has increased. In the following days, Yixian encountered many demonic and immortal cultivators. The Black Devil prison was originally used to imprison demonic cultivators, but some criminal immortal cultivators were also imprisoned here. However, demonic cultivators were generally stronger than immortal cultivators at the same level. Chapter 1708. On the third day after Yixian entered the Black Demon prison, he finally met an opponent. A 9th grade Jade Immortal Realm demonic cultivator. Ding! Ghost Dome Great Emperor is dead. Ding! Ghost Dome Great Emperor is resurrected. Ding! Wei Zhentian is dead. Ding! Wei Zhentian is resurrected. 4 system notifications rang in succession, which made Yixian stunned. Through the vision sharing just now, he saw a dark-skinned man kill Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhentian. This man smashed Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhentian into powder with just his physical strength. He was very powerful. I've been in the Black Demon prison for 3 days, and the strongest I've met was a 4th grade Jade Immortal. I didn't expect to meet a 9th grade Jade Immortal this time. Yixian narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. He was now a 3rd grade Jade Immortal, while Old Tree, Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhentian were 6th grade Jade Immortals. If they joined forces, it should not be a problem to kill this dark-skinned demonic cultivator. Old Tree go! Yixian immediately chased after Old Tree, who was the strongest among them. At the same time, he, Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhentian also followed. As long as he killed this 9th grade Jade Immortal, he could at least break through once or even twice. Even if he had to use all his trump cards, he must kill this man. With the Eye of Revelation, Yixian quickly found his opponent. At this time, Old Tree had already flashed past. Another prey, die for me. The dark-skinned man snorted and directly punched Old Tree. 9 Dragons Thunder Flash. Old Tree did not say anything and rushed forward. This time, he did not go behind Yixian. Instead, he waited for him to launch a sneak attack when they joined forces. Bang! A loud rumbling sound spread. Although there was a difference of 3 realms, the strength of the two was not much different. Old Tree's 9 Dragons Thunder Flash had been upgraded once, and its power had increased by 70%. Coupled with the power boost from the Yixian bloodline, Old Tree now had the ability to challenge opponents above his level. Although there was not much difference in strength, the Old Tree had other means. At this moment, the dark-skinned man saw a purplish-black flame climbing onto his hand. This flame actually burned through his skin defense, causing him unbearable pain. This is the legendary Purple Extreme Devil Flame? The dark-skinned man was shocked. The Purple Extreme Devil Flame was a type of devil flame that was produced after refining the Purple Extreme Devil Heart. This was a type of devil flame that only existed in legends. He never thought that he would actually see one today. This person actually has the Extreme Purple Demon Heart. Where did he come from? The dark-skinned man couldn't help but wonder. A person with the Purple Extreme Demon Heart must have a powerful background. He had been imprisoned in the Black Demon prison for more than 100,000 years, but he had never heard of this. Before he could open his mouth, Old Shu punched him again and they clashed again. So strong. Fortunately, I have the Black Essence Devil Heart. My physique is very strong. If it were an ordinary person, their arm would have been burned off. The dark-skinned man thought to himself. At this moment, Yixian had already marked his opponent with the Death Hunt command. Following that, one big move after another followed. Unicorn Descend. Undying Fighting Soul. Sword Blade Storm. The first time the Unicorn Descend, he had summoned the Flame Unicorn. The second time he had summoned the Ice Unicorn when he was in the Xia clan. This time it was the Thunder Unicorn. The thunder unicorn controlled thunder and lightning. Furthermore, it moved quickly. Its strength was probably not any weaker than the old tree. In an instant, the dark-skinned man was attacked from both sides. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. In the blink of an eye, he was at a disadvantage. Eye of assassination. Immortal slaying breath slash. 9 dragons sky-roaring attack. With Yi Xian and the others using their trump cards, the black essence devil heart in the dark-skinned man's body was directly blasted apart. The 9th grade Jade Immortal Demonic Cultivator was instantly killed. Ding! The host's killing intent has increased. When the system notification sounded, Yi Xian had already rushed over and removed the interspatial ring. Although there were many things in the interspatial ring, it was still less than what Yi Xian had expected. After all, these people were staying in the Black Demon prison and couldn't replenish their heaven and earth treasures. They could only snatch them. Moreover, there would be losses. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. The host is now a 4th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! The Ember of Thunderfire has made a breakthrough. The host is now a 7th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has made a breakthrough. The host is now a 7th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Ghost Dome Great Emperor has made a breakthrough. The host is now a 7th grade Jade Immortal. The system notifications sounded one after another. The realms of Yi Xian and the others had increased. However, just before the dark-skinned man died, he used a secret technique to transmit a message to the others. What? The purple extreme demon heart. In a corner of the Black Demon prison, a man opened his eyes. He had received the news of his friend's death. What he had to do now was to spread the news of the purple extreme demon heart. At this time, Yi Xian didn't know about this and was still on his way. With their current strength, no one in the Jade Immortal realm was a match for them. Even if they encountered a 1st grade Golden Immortal, they could still fight. Of course, in the Black Demon prison there were many Golden Immortals. There were even Xian Immortals, let alone Golden Immortals. This little devil, I don't know when he started his closed-door training. It's been a year. Yi Xian was slightly helpless. A day in the outside world was 100 days in the planted space. At this time, several days had passed, which was equivalent to more than a year. However, a year was like the blink of an eye for this realm. They were used to it. After all, under normal circumstances, closed-door training was measured in years. Some people could even train for 10,000 years. A year was really not a long time. However, Yi Xian's heart was cold. What if this little devil had to go into closed-door training for 1,000 years? Wouldn't that be a tragedy? Forget it. I'll just rely on myself. Yi Xian sighed. His current goal was to level up to the Xian Immortal realm. Only then could he stand firm in the Black Demon prison, and not have to remind those who were scared out of their wits. Although he still might not be able to get out, at least he would not be in danger. When the time came, maybe he could just leave through the void. Fortunately, the little devil did not go into closed-door training for long. 3 days after the dark-skinned man's death, the little devil came out of closed-door training. After the training, the little devil condensed a pair of demon wings and his speed skyrocketed. Boy, did you run into any trouble while I was in closed-door training? Asked the little devil. Next time you go into closed-door training, remember to tell me how long you'll be in it for. Yi Xian's projection said with a gloomy face. You went into closed-door training immediately after looting the Hollow Spirit Cave. You caused me to be discovered by the Inspector of Navy Tide Country, and sent to this Black Demon prison. Oh, Black Demon prison? The little devil was a little surprised. What is this place? Chapter 1709. Mystic Immortal? Little devil narrowed his eyes. There's only one true immortal in Navy Tide. As long as I recover to the Mystic Immortal level, I'll be able to break this shackle. During this period of seclusion, other than refining the devil wings, he had also improved his cultivation base and cultivation base. I'm going to a city in Black Devil prison now. The city lord is a 2nd grade Golden Immortal. Do you have the ability to deal with him? Yi Xian asked in surprise. Anyway, we made our fortune by looting. It's the same wherever we go. However, we can't let go of the grudge of breaking into Black Devil prison. Little Devil suddenly sneered. Yi Xian's eyes lit up when he heard this. How? When we get out, it'll be the day of Navy Tide's destruction. Little Devil said. Yixian instantly understood what he meant. The little demon king of chaos wanted to take in the entire black demon prison, then break the immortal artifact and release all the demonic cultivators in Navy Tide Nation to attack the Navy Tide Nation's imperial family. In fact, Yixian was more suitable for demonic cultivation. This way, he could improve his physique and perhaps be stronger than he was now. However, the Devil Heart and Immortal Heart were opposite. Both were very sensitive. Once one started demonic cultivation, he would become a rat on the street. That was why Yixian chose to refine the fast Immortal Heart. Next, the little demon king of chaos unfurled his enormous devil wings and brought Yixian to a nearby city. Although his realm was the same as Yixian's, only a 4th grade Jade Immortal, his strength was very strong. It wouldn't be a problem for him to challenge someone one realm higher. The devil wings were very fast, more than 10 times faster than Old Tree. In less than half a day, Yixian arrived at the nearby city. They didn't care what the city was called. Little Devil rushed in directly. Demonic great art, demonic assimilation. Little Devil didn't say anything and directly used his trump card. A huge shadow appeared and everyone in the city couldn't move. Then, Yixian began to take these people into his planting space. Even golden immortals would not be able to come out of his planting space. The city lord of this city was a 2nd-tier gold immortal, but he was suppressed by the little demon king to the point that he couldn't move at all. Then, he was sucked into the planting space. There were more than 100,000 people in the city. In the end, all of them became Yixian's slaves, and all of their belongings were taken away. Then, Little Demon and Yixian split the spoils of war according to the 99% and 1%. Chi-Su, you've obtained so many heavenly materials and earthly treasures, but why is your realm so low? Yixian couldn't help but ask. What do you know? The original demon body requires a large amount of heavenly and earthly treasures. Moreover, my heavenly demon heart hasn't been refined yet. Little Devil King snorted. What? You're still an ordinary demon heart? Yixian asked in astonishment. In my past life I refined the purple demon heart, but it's not suitable for me now. If I want to fuse with a heavenly demon heart that's comparable to a heavenly demon heart, I need to raise my ordinary demon heart to a certain level, Little Devil King replied. Many of the heavenly materials they plundered were used to refine Immortal Heart and Demon Heart. However, they were all used by Little Devil King to refine his ordinary demon heart. Then is there a way to refine it? I want to replace the Xianji Immortal Heart with the Purple Demon Heart. Yixian asked. Although the Xianji Immortal Heart Xianji Heavenly Fire was stronger than the Purple Demon Fire, the Purple Demon Heart could improve his physique by quite a bit. Relatively speaking, the Purple Demon Heart was more cost-effective. No, if it was an ordinary Immortal Heart, I would have a way. However, this Xianji Immortal Heart is not an ordinary thing. This is the Supreme Immortal Heart of the Heavenly Fire Palace. Right now, it looks inferior to the Purple Demon Heart, but if you obtain the Heavenly Fire Palace's Heavenly Fire 3 mysterious change in the future, this Xianji Immortal Heart will be 10 streets ahead of the Purple Demon Heart. Little Devil King said. Heavenly Fire Palace's Heavenly Fire 3 mysterious change? When Yixian heard this, his eyes couldn't help but slightly narrow. You're actually giving this kind of treasure to me? The Purple Demon Heart's value is high, but I already have it. What's the point of having it? Naturally, I have to spread it and let more people cultivate the Devil Dao. Secondly, I obtained the refining method of the Xianji Immortal Heart by chance. It was also because of it that I was chased down and had to reincarnate. The reason why I'm giving it to you is because I want you to spread it. TSK TSK TSK. Little Devil King sneered. You're so ruthless. What if the Heavenly Fire Palace finds out? Yixian was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Only now did he realize that he had been tricked. No wonder this Little Devil King was so kind. It turned out that he had such a plan. Don't worry. The Heavenly Fire Palace isn't something that you can come into contact with. Even if you use the Xianji Immortal Flame now, no one will recognize it. After Little Devil King finished speaking, he set up another array and said, I'm going to go into seclusion again. It will take about 10 days in the outside world. During this time you have to be careful. Don't die. In fact, he didn't care whether Yixian died or not because Yixian still had a clone in the mortal world. Even if Yixian died, he could still continue to ascend to the immortal world. After hearing this, Yixian rolled his eyes. Then, he swallowed the 1% of the spoils he had just obtained. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently you are a 5th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently you are a 6th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Currently you are a 8th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Currently you are a 9th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Currently you are a 8th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Currently you are a 9th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Ghost Dome Great Emperor has broken through. Currently you are a 8th grade Jade Immortal. Ding! Ghost Dome Great Emperor has broken through. Currently you are a 9th grade Jade Immortal. A series of system notifications rang out. The harvest this time was not bad. But it was a pity that Little Devil King had to go into seclusion every time he finished plundering. He really didn't know how to make good use of his time. Because of this, Yixian was helpless. To be safe, he could only hide and wait for Little Devil King to finish his seclusion. This seclusion lasted for 10 days. But now time was nothing to Yixian. Immortals had endless lifespan. Under normal circumstances they wouldn't die. Gradually he calmed down. 10 days later, Little Devil King came out of seclusion. His cultivation had improved again. So they continued to plunder the major cities in the Black Devil Prison. Navy Tide Country was built on the Black Devil Prison. People were sent to the Black Devil Prison all the time. The number of people who died every day was enough to build a city. After his strength improved, Little Devil King visited several surrounding cities and moved them all to the planting space. Chapter 17:10. Then the little devil continued his seclusion, this time for 7 days. Yixian also chose a place to rest. At this time he was already an 8th grade Jade Immortal. After 7 days, the little devil came out of seclusion, and then they were ready to plunder again. This time we'll pick a big one. Even if it's a Xian Immortal, it's enough to fight. The little devil smiled confidently, spread his wings and rushed with Yixian. However, this time it was not so easy. A day later they arrived at Ziyang City. Ziyang City was one of the 10 main cities of the Black Demon Prison, and it was their target. Same old plan. The little devil shouted in a low voice, and then killed his way into the city. However, as soon as he entered he felt an extremely strong aura. A Xian Immortal. There's a Xian Immortal, but so what? The little devil did not care at all, and directly rushed toward the Xian Immortal. At this time in Ziyang City's City Lord Mansion, the 1st grade Xian Immortal was leisurely drinking wine and playing chess. The little devil was only a Jade Immortal at this time, not even a Golden Immortal, so naturally, he could not attract his attention. However, after a while, he heard a loud rumble outside the City Lord Mansion. What's going on? The City Lord of Ziyang City raised his eyebrows. He was one of the top 10 experts of the Black Demon Prison, and was already a 1st grade Xian Immortal. Was there anyone who dared to make a move in his territory? He immediately spread out his immortal sense, and was shocked to find that the Golden Immortals in the City Lord Mansion died one after another. Heavens! What's going on? He focused his mind and checked with his immortal sense, and found that the intruder was not a Golden Immortal, but a Jade Immortal. To be precise, it was a 9th grade Jade Immortal. A 9th grade Jade Immortal killed dozens of high-level Golden Immortals in my City Lord Mansion. Am I dreaming? The City Lord of Ziyang City opened his eyes wide, and hurriedly rushed out of the door, and jumped into the sky. At this time, he saw a child with 2 horns on his head and 2 wings on his back killing. Bastard, you're courting death. The City Lord of Ziyang City did not care who the other party was, and directly took out his immortal treasure sword. Whoosh! This immortal treasure sword immediately turned into a stream of light, and attacked Little Demon King of Chaos. Ziyang City was one of the 10 main cities of the Black Devil Prison. The City Lord was not a devil cultivator, but an immortal cultivator. Therefore he fought with magic weapons. In the distance, when the Little Demon King saw the Purple Sun City's City Lord, his eyes could not help but flash. Although he was only a Tier 9 Jade Immortal, not even a Golden Immortal, the City Lord of Ziyang City was a Tier 1 Mystic Immortal, 10 whole realms higher than him. But so what? I am the Little Demon King of Chaos. one of the 18 heavenly kings under the Shura sovereign of the demon world. Those who stand in my way will die. Little demon king of chaos raised his head and roared. Suddenly, 2 beams of black light shot out from the 2 black horns on his head. Demonic great technique, demonic flash. Using this move might cause the little demon king's cultivation to drop, but as long as he killed this first stage profound immortal, no one in Ziyang City would be able to stop him. When the city lord of Ziyang City saw this move, his expression dimmed. Before he could react, 2 black rays of light had already entered his chest. Kacha! With a crisp sound, the city lord of Ziyang City's immortal heart shattered, and he died instantly. Now the only mystic immortal of the city lord of Ziyang City had died. Who else could be a match for the little demon king of chaos? What was even more tragic was that after the little demon king of chaos used his trump card, his cultivation did not drop. Demonic great technique, demonic assimilation. In an instant a huge shadow appeared, suppressing the entire city lord of Ziyang City. When Yixian outside the city saw the little demon king of chaos use the demonic assimilation, he immediately rushed into the city. He first put all the people in the city lord mansion, then the entire Ziyang City. In less than 5 minutes, one of the 10 main cities of the Black Devil prison, Ziyang City, disappeared. Good, the harvest this time is not bad. Then the little demon king of chaos counted the spoils of war, and gave 1% to Yixian. How long will you be in seclusion this time? Yixian could not hide the joy in his eyes and asked. At least half a month. After the little demon king of chaos answered, he began his seclusion. This time they had destroyed Ziyang City, one of the 10 main cities of the Black Devil prison. Although it was only 1%, it was enough for Yixian to make a breakthrough. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Currently, you are a 9th tier Jade Immortal. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Currently, you are a 1st tier Golden Immortal. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Currently, you are a 2nd tier Golden Immortal. 3 consecutive jumps were nothing out of the ordinary. If the people of the Black Devil prison were not so poor, even 1% of the spoils would be enough for him to break through to the 6th tier Golden Immortal. However, Yixian felt that it was enough. After all, he had only ascended to the immortal realm for a few months. It was definitely unprecedented for him to break through from an ordinary immortal to a golden immortal in a few months. Immortal, Heaven Immortal, Spirit Immortal, Jade Immortal, and Golden Immortal. There were a total of 5 major realms. All this was thanks to the little demon king of chaos. Otherwise, he would probably still be in the Spirit Immortal realm. The little demon king of chaos had to go into seclusion for 15 days. So Yixian also rested for 15 days. He estimated that the little demon king of chaos would be the top existence in the entire Black Devil prison after 15 days. When the time came, they could ransack the entire Black Devil prison and go into seclusion again. Maybe they could challenge the mountain of corpses and sea of blood. 15 days in the outside world was equivalent to 1500 days in the planting space, which was more than 4 years. After 15 days, the little demon king of chaos came out of seclusion and broke through to the golden immortal realm. Let's go. The little demon king of chaos showed a confident look. Now, who in the Black Devil prison was his match? However, what he did not know was that during the 15 days of his seclusion, the Black Devil prison had undergone earth-shattering changes. In fact, there were 3 big shots in the Black Devil prison. In these 15 days, the 3 big shots had merged all the main cities under their command. The little demon king of chaos originally wanted to find a main city called Black Mountain, but did not find it. Then, he went to another main city, but still did not find it. Strange, is the map too old? The little demon king of chaos was very surprised. However, this map was obtained from the city lord of Ziyang City, so it should not be wrong. Therefore, he decided to go to other cities to have a look. He went to almost all the 10 main cities, but did not find anything. Now, there was only one main city left, which was the largest main city in the Black Devil prison, Black Devil City. The city lord of Black Devil City was a 2nd-tier mystic immortal, and also the strongest person in the Black Devil prison. However, the scale of this Black Devil City was frighteningly large. It's so big. Could it be the result of the merger of 9 main cities? Yixian said in shock. Chapter 17:11. Tisk tsk tsk. You think you'll be fine just because you're all together? The little demon king of chaos sneered and directly brought Yixian into Black Demon City. He was only a low-level golden immortal now. No one would notice him, and so would Yixian. Everyone listen up. I, the little demon king, am here. Come out and welcome me. The little demon king leaped into the air and shouted angrily. When he was in Purple Sun City, he had announced his name. Perhaps the people outside the city heard him, so the other 9 cities quickly merged. Yixian might not know, but many demonic cultivators came from the demon realm. Naturally, they had heard of the little demon king's name. However, they could not figure out why the little demon king was still in Black Demon Prison. The demon king of the demon realm could destroy a force 10,000 times stronger than Navy Tide with a stomp of his foot. How could he be in such dire straits now? It was obvious that he was a fake. Soon, many figures appeared in the center of Black Demon City. These people had powerful auras. They were all mystic immortals. The little demon king? A middle-aged man narrowed his eyes and looked at the 6-year-old child in front of him. That's me. The little demon king snorted and said, Have you heard of my name? Of course. I come from the demon realm, and I'm also a demonic cultivator from the Shura sovereign's territory. However, the little demon king in my memory is a demon king comparable to an immortal king. Why are you only a golden immortal? A long-haired demonic cultivator walked out and said slowly, That's because I've reincarnated. The little demon of chaos looked around and said, So what if you're a gold immortal? Even if you're just a gold immortal, I can still kill all of you. What a big mouth. The long-haired demonic cultivator snorted. So what if you're the little demon king? You're just a golden immortal now. Today I'll meet you. You doubt me? Fine, but you'll have to pay the price in blood. The little demon king said, Hand over your life. The long-haired demonic cultivator roared and pounced at the little demon king. Die, you ant. Little demon king of chaos's eyes flashed. In the blink of an eye, a pair of wings grew out of his back and he directly punched through the long-haired demonic cultivator's chest. The latter's demonic heart was immediately shattered and he died. Instant kill. A first-tier golden immortal had insta-killed a first-tier mystic immortal. This was the power of the demon king. Gulp. After seeing the corpse of the long-haired devil cultivator, everyone couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. They had been trapped in the Black Demon Prison for a long time, and they were very familiar with the others. That long-haired Xioma cultivates the Black Origin Demon Heart. Even though his physical strength is not the strongest, his defensive power is very strong. Even a second-tier mystic immortal would not be able to kill him in a short time. But now, he had been instantly killed by this golden immortal in front of them. This fact was unacceptable to them. However, the middle-aged man in the lead reacted extremely quickly and hurriedly said, Greetings, Lord Demon King. Following that, the rest of the people also said respectfully, Greetings, Lord Demon King. What a joke. With the cultivation of a first-tier golden immortal, he was able to instantly kill a first-tier mystic immortal with the Black Origin Demon Heart. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Very good. From now on all of you will follow me. I can take you out of this damned place. Little Demon King of Chaos nodded satisfactorily. If not for the fact that these people were all devil cultivators and not immortal cultivators, they would have been killed by him long ago. Leave the Black Demon Prison? Upon hearing this, the eyes of those mystic immortals, including the devil cultivators and immortal cultivators below, all lit up. I heard that even mid-stage mystic immortals can't pass through that mountain of corpses and sea of blood. But I'm not an ordinary person. As long as my cultivation recovers, I can even destroy Navy Tide Nation, let alone this Black Demon Prison? Little Demon King of Chaos snorted coldly. Everyone nodded at his words. If Little Demon King of Chaos recovered to the mystic immortal realm, he could probably even beat up the king of Navy Tide Nation. At that time they could escape with their lives. We are willing to serve Lord Demon King. That middle-aged man hurriedly said at once. Very good. Now all of you enter one of my spaces. Don't resist. As Little Demon King of Chaos spoke, he sent a voice transmission to Yixian outside the city. As expected of the Demon King. You dealt with them so quickly. Yixian was impressed and quickly rushed in. With Little Demon King of Chaos watching over them, Yixian very easily put them into his planting space. Watching those people disappear one by one, everyone's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Although those mystic immortals were somewhat resistant, Little Demon King of Chaos directly gave them a condition and they all agreed. This condition was to impart the Purple Demon Heart. The Purple Demon Heart was a legendary demon heart. Although these devil cultivators had refined other demon hearts, this Purple Demon Heart's grade was so high that it could cover up these demon hearts. If they had the Purple Demon Flame, their battle strength would at least increase by several times. However, after they were put into Yixian's planting space, they were directly controlled by Yixian and forcibly taken into their yin and yang rings. Immediately, these millions of devil cultivators began to make a fuss. Don't worry, I, Little Demon King of Chaos, am only borrowing these things first. After I break this black devil prison, I will return them to you one by one. At this time, Little Demon King of Chaos had also been put into his planting space. In fact, Yixian could directly release those people using his second doppelganger and let them ascend to the immortal realm. However, Yixian's realm was not high enough and he was afraid that those people would attack him, so it was better to wait until later. While Little Demon King of Chaos was in seclusion, Yixian went out alone to look for food. He had already put all the mystic immortals into his planting space, but now he had broken through to 3rd-tier golden immortal, while Old Tree and the others were 6th-tier golden immortals. Although the 10 main cities had disappeared, the Black Devil prison was so big that there were other big and small cities. There were no mystic immortals in these cities, so they were all Yixian's targets. While Little Demon King of Chaos was in seclusion, Yixian put many cities into his planting space, and at the same time raised his realm to 5th-tier golden immortal. This Black Devil prison is an immortal artifact. I wonder if the people of Navy Tide know what's going on inside. Yixian was a little worried. Although he was strong now, he could only deal with a 1st-tier mystic immortal at most if he used all his trump cards. The King of Navy Tide was a true immortal with countless mystic immortal experts under his command, so he was still afraid that mid to high-tier mystic immortals would enter the Black Devil prison. Now that Little Demon King of Chaos was in seclusion, even a mid-tier mystic immortal was not someone they could deal with, so they had to be very careful. However, while Little Demon King of Chaos was in seclusion, Rumble. Chapter 17:12. What's going on? Yixian, who was on his way, raised his eyebrows, not understanding the situation. Could it be that the people of Navy Tide Nation had discovered the change in the Black Demon prison? Before he could react, a deafening roar resounded in the sky. Roar! This roar shook everyone's mind. Even Yixian's celestial heart of dazzling speed could not help but tremble. This was clearly the roar of an immortal beast. It's coming from the north. Yixian raised his eyebrows, hurriedly asked in his mind, and released a few people. These people were all top experts of the Black Demon prison, all of them Xian immortals. As soon as they appeared, they heard a second roar. Roar! Everyone shuddered when they heard this terrifying roar. What a terrifying roar! How could there be such an immortal beast in the Black Demon prison? I think so too. I've been in the Black Demon prison for 500,000 years, but I've never heard such a roar. It seems to be coming from the north, not far away. Shall we go and take a look? Everyone discussed and decided to go and take a look. The sound seemed to be very close, but it still took more than a day to get there. A day later, Yixian and the others arrived in front of a cavern. Strange, this used to be my city. Why didn't I know there was such a big cavern? A Xian immortal said in surprise. Who wants to go down and take a look? As soon as this was said, everyone fell silent. This cavern seemed to be very complicated, and no one wanted to go down and explore. Wei Zhentian, Ghost Dome Great Emperor, go down and take a look. Yixian shouted. After the two obeyed, they immediately rushed into the cavern. As for the Old Tree, he stayed by Yixian's side to protect him. Yixian shared his vision with his companions, so he could only see the dark stone wall through Wei Zhentian and Ghost Dome Great Emperor's eyes. However, as they continued to go down, they finally saw light. However, this was a purple-black light. There's a formation down there? Yixian raised his eyebrows. He discovered that what was trapped in this formation was a huge black lion with horns. What the hell is this? Yixian did not recognize this immortal beast, so he projected it for the other Xian immortals to see. This is... When the Black Demon City Lord saw this immortal beast, his eyes lit up. Black Demon City Lord, do you recognize it? Someone on the side asked. It's not just that, this is a demon horn demon beast, a top demon horn demon beast. It is a demon beast. It is said that the demon world's Azura sovereign's mount is a horned devil lion. Hearing this, the city demon. That's impossible. How could the Shura sovereign's mount be trapped here? Someone questioned. Indeed, the Demon King's mount is at least at the Demon King level. It can trample 10,000 Navy-Tide rulers to death. How could it be trapped here? The Black Demon City Lord rolled his eyes and said, I only said that the Demon King's mount is the Horned Demon Lion. I didn't say that this is the Demon King's mount. Who said that there is only one Horned Demon Lion in this world? At this time Yixian spoke. You have been here for countless years. Don't you know this? I'm not sure, but from the looks of it, the Horned Demon Lion should be sealed. Could it be the doing of the Navy-Tide ruler? The Black Demon City Lord shook his head. This sealing formation is powerful. I'm afraid it's not something an ordinary person can break. Let's wait for the Demon King to come out of seclusion. Everyone nodded when they heard this. Now that the little Demon King was about to come out of seclusion, they would listen to him. Everyone waited here for 3 days. 3 days later, the little Demon King came out of seclusion. Yixian told him about the Horned Demon Lion. Oh, Horned Demon Lion? When the little Demon King heard this, he raised his eyebrows and immediately came out to check. This is the mount of my good friend, the Great Demon King. We went through life and death together in the early years. Later, we were separated because of a great battle, but I didn't expect it to be sealed here. The little Demon King blurted out. Before anyone could react, the little Demon King had already dashed into the catacombs. It's actually the mount of the little Demon King's friend, not the Demon King's. Yixian raised his eyebrows. This was too much of a coincidence. After the little Demon King went down, roars came from the cave. After a while, the little Demon King came up. It's confirmed. It's indeed the Great Demon King's mount. Back then, it was only a demonic beast comparable to a Daluo Golden Immortal. The little Demon King nodded slightly and said, It should have been seriously injured, and then it was met by the Navy-Tide ruler and suppressed with an immortal artifact. Then how do we break the seal? Yixian asked. With my current realm, I'm afraid I can't break this seal alone. However, I have other methods. After the little Demon King finished speaking, he turned to look at the demonic cultivators and said, Next, I will set up a demon ascension formation that will forcibly raise your realms. This formation has its pros and cons. Once someone can't withstand it, their soul will scatter. However, once it succeeds, your realms will increase by at least 3 realms. Who's willing? Hearing this, the demonic cultivators were all startled. Increase by at least 3 realms in one go? If it succeeds, we'll increase by at least 3 realms. If it fails, we'll die. The Black Demon City Lord swallowed his saliva. This kind of thing was not something that could be encountered at any time. They had cultivated for hundreds of thousands of years, and until now the strongest was only a 2nd-tier mystic immortal. Previously, he had heard that 3rd tier, 4th tier, and even 5th-tier mystic immortals had gone to the Sea of Corpses, but without exception, all of them had died. I'm willing. Me too. Isn't it just death? If it succeeds, we can increase by at least 3 realms. Without a doubt, all of the demonic cultivators agreed. After your realms increase, I'll teach you the demon dance formation. At that time, if you join forces, you may be able to fight against a high-level mystic immortal. As long as this Horned Demon Lion escapes, it's time for us to leave the Black Demon prison. After the little Demon King finished speaking, he turned to look at Yixian. Yixian understood and immediately put everyone into the planting space. In the following days, the little Demon King was going to do something big. Now, there were 10 million demonic cultivators in the planting space. If he forcibly increased their realms by 3 realms, it would be very terrifying. Of course, the success rate of this demon ascension formation was not 100%. No one knew how many of these 10 million demonic cultivators would survive. At this time, the little Demon King was already setting up the formation in the planting space. The whole process took 3 days, which was 3 days in the outside world, which was equivalent to 300 days in the planting space. After 3 days, the demon ascension formation was finished. Then the little demon king let the demonic cultivators enter. Chapter 17:13. The demon ascension formation could only be used for 10,000 people at a time. However, more than 8,000 people died on the first try. However, the remaining 2,000 people all improved by at least 3 realms. In general, the lower one's realm was, the higher the success rate. There were 10 million demonic cultivators in the planting space, which meant that the formation had to be used 1,000 times. The Xian immortals chose to enter the last time. Since the formation was carried out in the planting space, time in the outside world was relatively slow. It only took an hour. However, only 600,000 of the 10 million demonic cultivators survived in the end. That was less than 1/10 of them. Not only that, but only 6 of the Xian immortals were left. However, those who survived all improved by at least 3 realms. The strongest one even broke through to level 7 Xian immortal, which was a full 5 realms improvement. Thank you, Lord Demon King. The master of Black Demon City shed tears of gratitude. After all, he was only a level 2 Xian immortal before. It was incredible that he could improve to level 7 Xian immortal in an instant. Now, there were only 600,000 demonic cultivators and 1 million cultivators at most. However, their current strength was more than 100 times stronger than before. After all of them improved by at least 3 realms. Good. Next, I will teach you the Dance of Demons formation. You will be the eye of the formation. This army of demons will be under your command. Little Demon King said. Yes, Lord Demon King. The master of Black Demon City replied respectfully. Now that he had reached level 7 Xian immortal, he might be able to fight Little Demon King. However, the Little Demon King in front of him was the real Demon King of the demon world. As long as he could leave Black Demon Prison, he might be able to follow Little Demon King to the demon world. In the future, he would have a meteoric rise. Therefore, he now regarded Little Demon King as his master. He was willing to be Little Demon King's henchman. In the outside world, Yixian was also very curious about how powerful this Dance of Demons formation was. He had heard that this formation was commonly used in the demon world. Although these demonic cultivators were all golden immortals and Xian immortals, it was still extraordinary when 600,000 of them joined forces. Previously, the Demon Ascension Grand Array took 3 days, but this time the Dance of 10,000 Demons Grand Array took an entire month. A month in the outside world was 8 years in the planting space. It's finally done. Among the 600,000 people, 100,000 of them have already refined the low-grade purple extreme demon heart. When the time comes to use the Dance of 10,000 Demons Grand Formation, I reckon they will be able to fight against a 9th-tier mystic immortal at the same time. Little Devil King of Chaos said. So strong? Yixian was extremely shocked. One had to know that among the 600,000 people, only the Black Demon City's City Lord was a Tier 7 mystic immortal. Who would have thought that he could actually block several Tier 9 mystic immortals? After all, without the Myriad Demon Dance formation, even an 8th-tier mystic immortal would be able to take care of 600,000 Xiamoists, let alone a 9th-tier mystic immortal. Demon King, as expected of the Demon King. Cut the crap. Let's rescue the Horn Demon Lion first. When the time comes, we'll break this immortal artifact. Little Demon King of Chaos could not wait any longer. Alright. Without hesitation, Yixian released the Little Demon King and 600,000 Xioma cultivators. These Xioma Devil cultivators are very obedient. They immediately set up the Myriad Devil Dance formation, then wait for orders. Aim at the formation and attack. At the City Lord's order, 600,000 Xioma Devil cultivators and hundreds of thousands of immortal cultivators all attacked the formation. Let me trigger the demon vein in your body and make it explode. Little Demon King of Chaos's eyes flickered. The next moment, the Horned Demon Lion in the seal suddenly expanded a lot and began to attack from the inside. Although the formation was strong, the Myriad Devil Dance formation was not for show. Together with the Horned Demon Lion and Little Demon King of Chaos, the seal was broken in less than half a minute. Roar! After being sealed for countless years, the Horned Demon Lion was finally free. It could not help but roar at the sky. It was not until the seal was broken that the aura of the Horned Demon Lion spread out. This time, even Little Demon King of Chaos was wrong. The Horned Demon Lion was not at the mystic immortal level, but a genuine immortal. No wonder there were no high-level mystic immortals in the Black Demon prison, and even mid-level mystic immortals rarely appeared. It turned out that they were afraid that someone would break the seal and release the Horned Demon Lion. Now the Horned Demon Lion, which was comparable to a genuine immortal, was out. It was enough to break the shackles. Roar! The Horned Demon Lion could not wait any longer. It directly rushed into the sky. Follow it. Seeing this, Little Demon King of Chaos immediately shouted angrily. Immediately, everyone followed closely behind the Horned Demon Lion and rushed into the sky. They were all beaten into the Black Demon prison from the land, so the exit was above them. Attack! Little Demon King of Chaos shouted angrily. Everyone launched attacks toward the sky. These attacks fell on the defensive formation of the Black Demon prison, causing a series of loud noises. The Black Demon prison was a fairy artifact. Although it was good, it could not withstand the attacks of so many people. In less than half a minute, a hole was broken in the sky, and immediately the sun shone in. Light! They finally saw the light of day again. Ha ha ha, I'm finally out. Damn the Black Demon prison, it has trapped me for 300,000 years. Navy Tide Nation, wait and see. 600,000 demonic cultivators could not help but let out a roar that shook the sky. At this time, everyone found that the place where they broke out of the ground was in front of a huge city. This was the Imperial Palace. There were a lot of powerful auras around them. It's the Navy Tide Nation Imperial Palace. Little Demon King of Chaos's eyes lit up. He did not expect to come directly to the destination. Previously, he wanted to destroy Navy Tide Nation after leaving the Black Demon prison. Now that he was in front of the Imperial Palace, wasn't this the will of the heavens? Prepare for battle. At this time, the experts in the Navy Tide Nation's Imperial Palace had already discovered these millions of people, and that huge and terrifying Horned Demon Lion. Immediately they all jumped into the sky. At the same time, the Navy Tide Nation's monarch also found the hole in the Black Demon prison, and immediately rushed out from somewhere in the Imperial Palace. The Navy Tide Nation's monarch, a third-grade true immortal. I miscalculated. I didn't expect Navy Tide Nation to have a few true immortals. The news was wrong. Little Demon King of Chaos's face was a little gloomy, but they were not afraid of the other party. After all, there was still the Horned Demon Lion. This Horned Demon Lion was once the mount of the Great Demon King under the Shura Emperor, but they were only at the level of Golden Immortal. After that, the Horned Demon Lion was seriously injured. The Navy Tide Nation's monarch wanted to subdue it but did not succeed, so he suppressed it in the Black Demon prison. Now that the Horned Demon Lion was free, its resentment toward the Navy Tide Nation's monarch instantly erupted. Roar! In an instant, the Horned Demon Lion rushed toward the Navy Tide Nation's monarch. Kill without mercy. The Navy Tide Nation's monarch knew that he could not be kind this time, so he immediately shouted. His aura spread out, scaring many demonic cultivators. Chapter 17:14. Brat, I can't take care of you. Be careful. Little Demon King shouted as he unfurled his huge demonic wings and joined the battle. Yixian was now a Tier 5 Golden Immortal, while Old Tree, Ghost Dome Emperor, and Wei Zhentian were all Tier 8 Golden Immortals. However, the people in the palace were all at least Xian Immortals, so Yixian had to find trouble with those with lower cultivation. Undying War Soul. Sword Blade Storm. 9 Dragons Sky Strike. Old Tree and the other two used their trump cards one after another. Yixian was not idle either. Slaughter Seal. First he condensed a Slaughter Seal. That way he could condense another Slaughter Seal by killing people. He estimated that he only needed to kill a Tier 1 Mystic Immortal to condense a second Slaughter Seal. Old Tree and the other two had already killed a Tier 1 Mystic Immortal when they joined forces. Hence, the second Slaughter Seal was condensed. Ding! Host has condensed a Slaughter Seal. With 2 Slaughter Seals he could use the Immortal Slaying Puppet. However, Yixian's plan was not so simple. He wanted the Immortal Slaying Sword formation. Old Tree, who was a Tier 8 Golden Immortal, successfully launched sneak attacks in this chaotic battle. In the blink of an eye, several Mystic Immortals had fallen. After a while, Yixian's third Slaughter Seal was condensed. At this time, if he used 2 more Slaughter Seals, he would have 5 Slaughter Seals. However, he did not do so because he was only a Tier 5 Golden Immortal. Fortunately, the mystic immortals he had just killed were all very wealthy. All of them had their interspatial rings taken away by Old Tree. These interspatial rings naturally fell into Yixian's hands. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a Tier 6 Golden Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a Tier 7 Golden Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Host is now a Tier 9 Golden Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Host is now a Tier 1 Mystic Immortal. Because the Old Tree had a contract with Yixian, it would not surpass Yixian by more than 3 realms. However, Wei Zhentian and Ghost Dome Great Emperor didn't. This time, they had once again left Yixian in the dust. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through and is now a Tier 9 Golden Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through and is now a Tier 1 Mystic Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through and is now a Tier 2 Mystic Immortal. The Ghost Dome Great Emperor was Wei Zhentian's lifelong magic treasure. It had the same cultivation level as Wei Zhentian, so it was also a Tier 2 Mystic Immortal. Yixian and the others had increased their cultivation by quite a few levels, but this did not have much of an effect on the battle. On the other side, 600,000 demonic cultivators had laid down the 10,000 demons dance grand formation. Their battle strength was outstanding. However, those immortal cultivators who had been thrown into the Black Demon prison had all scattered and fled. However, to everyone's surprise, they actually held the upper hand in this battle. The Horned Demon Lion, who had blocked all the true immortals of Navy Tide, was desperately venting its anger. The battle continued for a while. Soon Yixian had collected 5 slaughter seals. If he added the 2 slaughter seals that he had not used yet, he had a total of 7 slaughter seals. At the same time, his cultivation level had directly soared to the Tier 9 Golden Immortal realm. Now it was time to use a big move. Double slaughter seal. Immortal Slaying Sword formation rise. Yixian instantly used up 7 slaughter seals. Then the Immortal Slaying Sword formation spread out with him as the center. Whoosh! Whoosh! Then Yixian heard a series of system notifications. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. The Immortal Slaying Sword formation had only lasted for 3 seconds, but it had already caused the death of a large number of Xian immortals. Although there were no survivors in the formation at this time, Yixian did not stop the formation. Then, he quickly put away these people's corpses. However, at this time, 7-colored immortal power. Oh no, it's a Daoyuo Golden Immortal. A loud shout rang out. Yixian recognized this voice. It was the Little Demon King. What, a Daoyuo Golden Immortal? Yixian was frightened. A Daoyuo Golden Immortal was the realm after a true immortal. There was only one Tier 3 true immortal in Navy Tide. How could there be a Daoyuo Golden Immortal stronger than a Tier 9 true immortal? Little Demon King? The heavens are really helping me. As long as I catch you, it will be a great achievement. An unfamiliar voice fell into everyone's ears. Humph, it's not that easy to catch me. The Little Demon King snorted coldly. He immediately turned into a black stream of light and fled. This time he was in trouble. However, before he left, he still sent a voice transmission to Yixian, asking Yixian to go to the demon realm to find him. A Daoyuo Golden Immortal is not someone we can fight. Yixian's face was gloomy. He did not expect such a strong person to appear in Navy Tide. Without the Horned Demon Lion and the Little Demon King, there was no way to fight this battle. The Dance of 10,000 Demons formation of 600,000 demonic cultivators could deal with a few Tier 9 Xian immortals. However, there were still a few true immortals in Navy Tide. There was no way to fight them. In an instant, 600,000 demonic cultivators were scared out of their wits. I have to leave quickly too. Yixian's face was gloomy as he quickly descended. Fortunately, he cultivated the immortal heart, and was only a golden immortal so no one would notice him. Ding! Host has completed the random mission, unlocking the second immortal auxiliary bloodline column. Suddenly, a system notification sounded in Yixian's mind. Only then did he remember that he still had a random mission. Now that he had left the Black Demon prison, this random mission could be considered completed. During this period of time in the Black Demon prison, He had already swept through the new bloodlines that appeared in the immortal devouring system and decided on the second immortal bloodline. Ding! Host, do you want to exchange for the space-time bloodline? The system notification sounded. Yes. Ding! Space-time bloodline exchange complete. Do you want to fuse it now? Yes. Ding! Space-time bloodline fusion. This space-time bloodline was the second immortal bloodline that Yixian had carefully selected. The space-time bloodline, as its name implied, could control time and space. Space control gave Yixian the ability to teleport. It also had a powerful move called the Extreme Space Shield. The Extreme Space Shield was a defensive skill, similar to the 9-Dragon Thunderfire Shield. It could absorb attacks and then reflect them back 3 times. It was a defensive and offensive skill. Time control increased the flow of time in the planting space, and at the same time it had the ability to return to the past. At this time, Yixian had already fused with the space-time bloodline. Ding! The flow of time in the planting space has changed. Currently, it can be changed to 200 times. Previously, the planting space was 100 times, but now it was increased to 200 times. Staying in the planting space for half a year was only a day in the outside world. Chapter 17:15. But now, Yixian didn't have time to think about anything else and directly used teleportation. The space-time bloodline allowed him to teleport to the end of his field of vision. Combined with the Eye of Revelation, Yixian instantly left this troublesome place. But this wasn't the end. He continuously teleported 2 more times before letting out a slight sigh of relief. The space-time bloodline's teleportation could only be used 3 times a day. This time he directly used it on his journey. However, the current him wasn't out of danger yet, so he quickly changed his appearance and concealed his aura. Just now, the immortal slaying sword formation had killed many mystic immortals, and the items had already been collected by him. The current him was a 2nd stage mystic immortal. Old Tree was a 5th stage mystic immortal, while Ghost Dome Emperor and Wei Zhentian had both reached 6th stage mystic immortal. Originally, they were almost not afraid of any mystic immortals, but Navy Tide still had many true immortals and that mysterious Zenith Golden Immortal, so Yixian had to run a little farther. The 600,000 demonic cultivators had already been utterly defeated and were fleeing in all directions. Once the dance of 10,000 demons formation was broken, this group of demonic cultivators no longer had the strength to fight. Then, they were hunted down by the experts of Navy Tide's imperial family. In the end, these demonic cultivators were still completely slaughtered. Almost no one was lucky enough to escape. As for the cultivators who left earlier, quite a few of them survived. After all, they were all cultivators. With so many people, even a mystic immortal wouldn't be able to distinguish if they were wanted criminals one by one. Yixian was lucky enough to escape, but he was separated from the little demon king. A Zenith Golden Immortal is chasing after the little demon king. I wonder if he can escape alive. Yixian sighed. After experiencing this incident, he knew that even if you had the strength, you couldn't just run rampant, because there might be someone stronger than you. The little demon king was the demon king of the demon realm in his past life, so he shouldn't die so easily. However, for Luolua's heavenly demon heart, it seems that I have to make a trip to the demon realm. Yixian thought to himself. The immortal world and the devil world were 2 different worlds. Moreover, they were on opposite sides. It wouldn't be easy to go from the immortal world to the devil world. Previously, when the little demon king of chaos was being chased by the great golden immortal with the rainbow immortal's immortal force, Yixian had already used the death pursuit command to mark him, so he could sense the little demon king's current location. However, the distance between them was increasing at a terrifying speed. After all, if he slowed down, he would be caught up by the golden immortal. The devil king of the devil world was indeed extraordinary. He was actually able to compete in speed with a golden immortal, who was even stronger than a true immortal. Just in case, Yixian quickly hid in a nearby city, and used the Eye of Revelation to investigate how to get to the demon realm. Because he was a wanted criminal, Yixian was very careful. He spent an entire day trying to find out how to get to the demon realm, but still couldn't find out how to get to the demon realm. The entrance to the demon realm, at least Navy Tide Nation doesn't have one, so we have to go to a more powerful nation to ask. Yixian narrowed his eyes and decided to leave Navy Tide Nation directly. At that moment, Yixian rushed towards the north. His target was the border of Navy Tide Nation. Now that a hole had been made in the Black Devil prison, the imperial family of Navy Tide Nation was chasing after demonic cultivators. Although he was an immortal cultivator, he would still be in danger. This time he spent 3 days on his journey. 3 days later, he arrived at the border of Navy Tide Nation. Is there an inspection going on ahead? Yixian narrowed his eyes slightly. If a demonic cultivator approached, he would probably be attacked directly. However, he was an immortal cultivator, so there shouldn't be a problem. After all, he had changed his appearance. Second stage Mystic Immortal? After sensing Yixian's realm, the Navy Tide Nation's border general couldn't help but reveal an astonished expression. Although he could sense that Yixian was an immortal cultivator, right now Mystic Immortals weren't allowed to go out, so Yixian didn't come out of seclusion. The Navy Tide Nation's border general is heavily guarded, and the general guarding the border is an 8th stage Mystic Immortal. It's not impossible to break through by force. Yixian narrowed his eyes and calculated in his mind. He was a 2nd stage Mystic Immortal, Old Tree was a 5th stage Mystic Immortal, and Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhenqian were 6th stage Mystic Immortals. Weren't they always good at challenging those with higher realms? A 9th stage Mystic Immortal and 9 8th stage Mystic Immortals. If I use my trump cards, I can instantly kill them. At the thought of this, Yixian directly condensed the heaven-defying immortal sword. Kid, what are you planning to do by showing your weapon? A guard at the border asked in astonishment. Kill you. Before he finished speaking, Yixian directly attacked. As a 2nd stage Mystic Immortal, Yixian attacked at lightning speed, instantly piercing through the chest of the 5th stage Mystic Immortal. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When the system notification rang out, Old Shu and the other two had already appeared, and they immediately rushed over. Enemy attack! Someone shouted angrily. In an instant, a large number of experts rushed out of the checkpoint, including the 9th stage Mystic Immortal. At this moment, Yixian had already condensed the first slaughter seal. Old Tree and the other two used their ultimate skills. 9 Dragon Sky Roaring Strike. Sword Blade Storm. Although Old Tree was only a 5th stage Mystic Immortal, his actual combat strength was terrifying. After all, he had the purple Extreme Devil Flame, coupled with the 9 Dragon Sky Roaring Strike. Even a 9th stage Mystic Immortal would have to temporarily avoid him. This time, Yixian's goal was not to force his way through the checkpoint, but to destroy it to show his anger. In an instant, they directly exchanged blows. At the border of Navy Tide Nation, there was a 6th stage Mystic Immortal with 3,000 men. Moreover, they controlled the formation and were extraordinarily powerful. At this moment, Yixian directly let Wei Zhenqian and Ghost Dome Great Emperor kill their way in. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. System notifications sounded one after another, and Yixian's killing intent skyrocketed. Ding! Host has condensed a slaughter seal. Ding! Host has condensed a slaughter seal. In an instant, Yixian's slaughter seals soared to 3. Moreover, he still had 2 that he had not used, which meant that it was enough for him to use the Celestial Slaying Sword formation now. However, he was only a 2nd stage Mystic Immortal. If he used the Celestial Slaying Sword formation now, the effect would be too weak. Therefore, he had to break through as soon as possible. Die brat! At this moment, an 8th stage Mystic Immortal attacked. You're the one! Yixian's eyes flashed, and he directly used the Unicorn Descent. A terrifying aura spread out. This time, Yixian did not summon the Ice Unicorn, the Blazing Unicorn, or the Unicorn of Thunder. Instead, it was the rarely seen Dark Unicorn. The moment the Dark Unicorn appeared, the sky instantly darkened. At the same time, Yixian's figure instantly concealed himself, and directly escaped from the 8th stage Mystic Immortal's vision. Immortal Sense. The 8th stage Mystic Immortal's eyes flashed as he discovered Yixian's trace. However, at this moment Yixian had already launched his attack. Chapter 17:16. After sensing this aura, the Mystic Immortal snorted. A mere Mystic Immortal wanted to hurt him? If he hadn't felt that something was wrong with Yixian, he wouldn't have come here. However, he didn't expect the 1000 Severing Slash to be so powerful. When the 1000 Severing Slash landed on the Mystic Immortal's body, It vibrated hundreds of times. After the 200th and 800th vibrations, the 1000 severing slash triggered a one-hit kill. Although Yixian and the Mystic Immortal were 6 realms apart, and the chance of triggering was greatly reduced, Yixian's luck was equivalent to 36 points. After triggering the 1000 severing slash, the effect was not bad. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. In an instant, the Mystic Immortal's immortal heart shattered, and he was killed by the 1000 severing slash. At the same time, Yixian, who had killed an enemy 6 realms above him, condensed the remaining 2 slaughter seals. At this moment he already had 5 slaughter seals, and he still had 2 spare ones. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a Mystic Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a Mystic Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a Mystic Immortal. The Mystic Immortal's position in the army was extremely high, second only to the Mystic Immortal. Moreover, he had led the army out to hunt and reaped a bountiful harvest. However, all his wealth had been taken advantage of by Yixian. Yixian was now a Mystic Immortal. The old tree, Wei Zhentian, and Ghost Dome Great Emperor had broken through to the Mystic Immortal realm of the Mystic Immortal realm. There was no suspense in this battle. Yixian originally thought that it would be difficult, but the 1000 severing slash didn't disappoint him. It killed his opponent instantly and led to a complete victory. However, the battle wasn't over yet. Moreover, there was a team flying over from the distant horizon. This realm, a true immortal? Yixian raised his eyebrows. With the eye of revelation, he discovered that there was a super expert in this team. A true immortal. Navy Tide Nation didn't only have 1 true immortal but 7. Yixian recognized this person because this true immortal was also present during the battle that day. This was troublesome. What a coincidence. You can enjoy the power of the immortal's sword. Yixian's eyes of size. Although he was only a tier 4 Mystic Immortal, which was 6 realms away from a true immortal, he had all kinds of bloodlines in his body. And SS's. In addition to this true immortal, there were 6 other level 9 Mystic Immortals. However, these 6 people reacted slowly. Only the true immortal reacted. Was to. TS. The Extreme Space Shield had an extremely strong defensive ability. It directly absorbed the sword strike and then rebounded it back. The true immortal was struck by his own move and was instantly sent flying. Yixian's eyes twinkled. He quickly appeared behind the true immortal. The first strike after using the Eye of Assassination was 70% more powerful. Therefore, Yixian used the Immortal's Sword Formation to complement the Eye of Assassination. The Immortal's Sword Formation was activated in an instant. Countless sword rays flashed and surrounded the 7 people, including the true immortal. A foul wind and a rain of blood began to blow. Death Hunt, Eye of Assassination, Immortal's Sword Formation. These 3 should be enough to deal with a true immortal. However, there was a springboard between a true immortal and a Mystic Immortal. True immortal force was much stronger than ordinary immortal force. Therefore, Yixian didn't think he could kill this true immortal. He only hoped to buy some time. Massacre Seal. When the Immortal's Sword Formation was activated, Yixian used the Massacre Seal again. At the same time, Old Tree and the others appeared in the middle of the Immortal's Sword Formation. The other 6 level 9 Mystic Immortals were simply here to die. Old Tree appeared behind one of them in a flash. Then he punched and smashed his heart. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host has condensed a Massacre Seal. Ding! Host has condensed a Massacre Seal. In less than 2 seconds, the 6 level 9 Mystic Immortals were all dead. At the same time, Yixian condensed 3 more Massacre Seals. Another one. Yixian used the Massacre Seal again. He condensed 4 Massacre Seals and then used the Immortal Eliminating Arrow. On one side was the Immortal's Sword Formation. On the other side was the Immortal Eliminating Arrow. Coupled with Old Tree and the others, no matter how strong this true immortal was, he couldn't withstand so many attacks. Moreover, the 6 level 9 Mystic Immortals gave Yixian a large amount of heavenly treasures. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a level 6 Mystic Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a level 7 mystic immortal. Yixian's realm soared again. Not only that, but Old Tree and the others also broke through to the true immortal realm. Now they had no opponents. 9 Dragons Thunder Flash. After breaking through, Old Tree's aura skyrocketed. He appeared behind the true immortal in a flash and then punched. Crack! The true immortal's immortal heart exploded. His corpse fell from the sky. At that moment, Yixian quickly rushed over and put away the universe ring. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a level 8 mystic immortal. His realm rose again. At this moment, Yixian was truly invincible. At least in Navy Tide. No, it might not be enough. Because a Daluo Golden Immortal suddenly appeared in Navy Tide. This was a super expert who surpassed the true immortal realm. It seems that revenge on Navy Tide is not possible. I better leave. Yixian thought to himself. After killing the rest of the people, he forcibly left Navy Tide. This battle allowed him to obtain great benefits, directly increasing his cultivation by 6 cultivation levels. It was really too awesome. When I return next time, it will be the day of your Navy Tide's destruction. Yixian looked at Navy Tide's border and said coldly in his heart. If not for that Daluo Golden Immortal, he probably would have killed his way back to the Navy Tide Imperial Palace. At this moment, the little Demon King was also getting further and further away from him. Fortunately, he marked the little Demon King at the last moment. If he died, he would have a notification. Now that the death warrant was still there, it meant that the little Demon King was still alive. Being chased by a Daluo Golden Immortal and still being able to live for so long, as expected of the Demon World's Demon King. After leaving Navy Tide, they arrived at the ownerless land outside. That true immortal and 6 9th-level mystic immortals were actually Navy Tide's diplomatic group. They were going to visit a neighboring country, but unexpectedly, they were encountered by Yixian and then completely wiped out. They were really unlucky. The little Demon King was very fast, so Yixian was unable to meet up with him. They could only search for the entrance to the demon world and then meet there. Chapter 1717. Previously in Navy Tide Nation, Yixian did not inquire about the demon realm's passageway, so his next target was a large nation called Green Rainbow. This Green Rainbow Nation was countless times stronger than Navy Tide Nation, and perhaps it had a passageway to the demon realm. However, between Navy Tide Nation and Green Rainbow Nation, there was a more terrifying danger zone. Sea of Vengeful Souls. This Sea of Vengeful Souls was extremely dangerous, and even a true immortal might not be able to escape unscathed after entering. And to go to Green Rainbow Nation, one had to pass through the Sea of Vengeful Souls. If one were to go around it with Yixian's current realm, it would probably take several decades. Just as Yixian was pondering, the system notification came. Ding, the host has triggered a random mission to cross the Sea of Vengeful Souls within a month. If the host fails or refuses, the immortal unicorn bloodline will regress once. Originally, Yixian did not want to enter this dangerous Sea of Vengeful Souls, but now that there was a random mission, it was probably not up to him anymore. F***C. Why is this system so ruthless? Even refusing has a punishment. Yixian really wanted to cry, but no tears came out. For the immortal unicorn bloodline, each advancement was equivalent to earning 6 Devour points, and so was regress. More importantly, if he regress 1 rank, his unicorn bloodline would become 3 unicorn legs again. It looked like this Sea of Vengeful Souls had to go. The punishment for failure is so severe. Then the reward should be pretty good, go for it. Yixian deliberated for a moment, and finally decided to go. After leaving Navy Tide Nation and entering the unclaimed land, Yixian traveled for 3 days, and finally arrived at a boarding point in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. The Sea of Vengeful Souls would have terrifying thunder continuously striking down from the sky, so the sea surface was extremely dangerous. If ordinary people flew into the Sea of Vengeful Souls, they would be easily struck to death by these thunder. Therefore, the means of crossing the Sea of Vengeful Souls was something called an iron lock flying boat. This iron lock flying boat was actually an ordinary flying boat, but the route was an iron lock. Crossing the Sea of Vengeful Souls in this iron lock flying boat would be much safer. Moreover, this iron lock flying boat had a true immortal realm expert overseeing it. Under normal circumstances, only 1 out of 10 flying ships would have an accident at most. Coincidentally, there was a flying boat with iron locks that was about to set off today. Yixian immediately bought a ticket and boarded the ship. Although the price was not high, one iron lock flying boat could carry more than 1,000 people. After all, the iron lock flying boat would make a trip every half a month. Many people had been waiting here for a long time. Finally, they saw the flying ship with iron locks. All right, everyone get on board. We'll set off in an hour. The captain of the iron lock airship shouted. Yixian used the Eye of Revelation to scan him, and discovered that this was a rank 3 true immortal, the same as the king of Navy Tide Nation. It's actually Captain He Yuan. We'll definitely be fine this time. Captain He Yuan is rather famous in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. She has traversed the Sea of Vengeful Souls countless times without encountering any mishaps. Haha, this money is well spent. Everyone couldn't help but start discussing. Most of the people who were going to cross the Sea of Vengeful Souls were mystic immortals, and only a few were rank 1 true immortals. Yixian was alone. He immediately boarded the flying ship and found a corner to wait. It would take about half a month to cross the Sea of Vengeful Souls. This time wasn't long for others, but for Yixian it wasn't that easy. Since the system gave me such a mission, it definitely won't be peaceful this time. I have to be on guard and retreat as soon as something happens. Yixian thought to himself. Compared to the system's punishment, his life was naturally more important. If he encountered any danger, he would directly break through the void and leave. An hour later, the iron lock airship set off. Kacha! 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 The flying ship set off. The flying ship moved quickly on the iron locks, emitting a series of crisp sounds. The flying ship was actually faster than flying in the air. Yixian couldn't figure it out. Thunder rumbled continuously in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. Although no accidents happened, the people on the flying ship were shocked. Fortunately, the first part of the journey was very peaceful and nothing happened. 7 days later, the iron lock flying ship suddenly stopped. We're here. We're finally here. The island of Vengeful Souls. A smile suddenly flashed across the solemn faces of the crowd. The island of Vengeful Souls was a transit point in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. It was absolutely safe and wouldn't be struck by lightning. Among you, 371 people disembarked from the ship at the island of Vengeful Souls. I'll also stay there for a day. We'll set off a day later. The rank 3 true immortal captain, He Yuan, said. The island of Vengeful Souls. Yixian narrowed his eyes. On the way, he had heard that this place was on fire. The island of Vengeful Souls was located in the center of the Sea of Vengeful Souls. It was an absolutely safe place. Many people gathered there, and the island owner was a rank 4 true immortal. Since they would set off the next day, Yixian decided to take a look at the island of Vengeful Souls and stroll around. There were many true immortals on the island of Vengeful Souls. At the same time, there were various markets. Occasionally, one would find some good things that others didn't know about. However, Yixian was a jinx. Trouble followed him wherever he went. Rumble. While he was strolling around the market, the island of Vengeful Souls suddenly shook violently. What's going on? An earthquake? It can't be. Why would there be an earthquake on the island of Vengeful Souls? The island of Vengeful Souls has a history of 10,000 years. This is the first time I've seen an earthquake. The people on the island of Vengeful Souls all looked surprised. This kind of thing was really too strange. Then, the people saw countless guards flying around the island of Vengeful Souls. They didn't know what was going on. Bastard thief! How dare you steal the sealing stone of the island of Vengeful Souls? Hurry up and tell me, and I'll spare your life. An old voice rang out and entered everyone's ears. When the people heard that, they immediately trembled. The sealing stone of the island of Vengeful Souls? What's that? Everyone raised their heads in confusion, just in time to see a figure flitting across the sky. What a fast speed! Yixian raised his eyebrows. He saw that the person was dressed in black and was in a hurry. In the blink of an eye, he swept across the sky above him. Out of curiosity, he directly marked the person with the death hunting order. However, at this moment, ding! The host has triggered a random task. Capture or kill the thief who stole the sealing stone of the island of Vengeful Souls. Destroy the sealing stone of the island of Vengeful Souls. The system notification rang in Yixian's mind and made him tremble. Based on his intuition, he guessed that the man in black who swept across the sky above him was the thief who stole the sealing stone of the Island of Vengeful Souls. Chapter 17:18. He's a rank 3 true immortal, but that's nothing to me. Chase after him. Yixian ran as fast as he could. Although he was only a rank 8 mystic immortal, his speed was no slower than a rank 3 true immortal. On the other hand, the sealing stone of Wailing Soul Island was stolen. The island owner was furious and sent many experts to search for the thief. However, this thief's speed was very fast. Moreover, he had directly entered the crowd and concealed his aura. It was unlikely that he would be found so quickly. His disguise was good, but Yixian had the death hunting order and could find him. Found you. With the eye of revelation, Yixian quickly found the thief. Then the old tree appeared. 9 dragons thunder flash. In an instant, the old tree appeared behind the thief and punched him. Bam! The old tree, who was also a rank 3 true immortal, killed the thief instantly. Then Yixian took the interspatial ring. However, there were not many treasures in the thief's interspatial ring. It was not even comparable to a rank 1 true immortal. Is this the sealing stone of Wailing Soul Island? At this time, Yixian took out a blue stone from the interspatial ring. Gotcha! With a crisp sound, the blue stone shattered. Ding! Host has completed the random mission. Reward. Wei Zhentian has mastered the super transformation ability. Ding! Wei Zhentian has mastered the flying sword form. This random mission was not difficult. After Yixian completed it, he received the reward. Flying sword form? Yixian didn't understand the situation. He hurriedly checked and sucked in a breath of cold air. Wei Zhentian, who had transformed into a flying sword, had greatly improved both his attack power and speed. Moreover, his speed was not inferior to a flying boat of the same level. Not bad, not bad. In this flying sword form, Wei Zhentian's strength has surpassed the Ghost Dome Great Emperor and is almost on par with the old tree. Yixian was very satisfied. This random mission was a free gift. However, right when he destroyed the sealing stone on the Wretched Soul Island, a loud rumble sounded from the Wretched Soul Island again. And this time the tremors were even more intense. Rumble. Everyone panicked when they heard the earth-shattering sound. Some of them even boarded the flying boat and prepared to leave. Everyone, the sealing stone on the Wailing Soul Island has been destroyed. The giant tortoise under the Wailing Soul Island is about to awaken. When that happens, the Wailing Soul Island will sink. Everyone leave immediately. An aged voice once again entered everyone's ears. When the people on the island of departed souls heard this, they were all shocked. Was there a giant tortoise sealed under the Ghost Island? Although some people did not know what kind of immortal beast the giant tortoise of resentment was, the voice clearly belonged to the island master of the Resentment Soul Island. If even a rank 4 true immortal could not do anything, what could they possibly do by staying here? Before they could react, the ground quaked even more violently and cracks spread out. It was as though the entire Wailing Soul Island was about to be torn apart. Seeing that, everyone flew into the sky. Not long after, the Resentful Soul Island disintegrated. Roar! An earth-shattering roar entered everyone's ears again. Everyone focused their eyes and saw a huge figure gradually emerging from the deep sea. Yixian, who had a phobia of the deep sea, was already standing on Wei Zhentian, who had transformed into a flying sword. He was ready to leave at any time. The huge figure that emerged from the deep sea was so boundless that even Yixian's eye of revelation could not see the end of it. However, he knew that it was an immortal beast. It was the giant tortoise that the island master of the Resentful Soul Island had mentioned. He estimated that the giant tortoise was at least a rank 6 true immortal. Moreover, the tortoise-type immortal beast had a strong defense. Even a true immortal of the same level would not be able to break through its defense. In this case, no one present would be able to hurt it. However, at this moment, woo-woo-woo. Suddenly, there was a series of rumbling sounds. Then the surface of the sea changed. Pillars of water shot up into the sky. Poof! 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 These pillars of water pierced through the bodies of the surrounding profound immortals and true immortals at lightning speed. They were extremely powerful. Let's go. The giant tortoise is angry. Someone shouted angrily. The giant tortoise was now venting its anger after being sealed under the resentful soul island. The pillars of water just now were very powerful. Even Yixian did not dare to underestimate them. Moreover, these pillars of water continued to erupt. Each time there were hundreds of thousands of them. Everyone on the tortoise's back was on high alert. If these pillars of water pierced through their immortal heart, they would definitely die. Let's go. Although the Sea of Vengeful Souls was dangerous, the giant tortoise was even more dangerous. Many people turned around and left. At the same time, Yixian heard another system notification. Ding! You have destroyed the sealing stone on the resentful soul island. The giant tortoise is now hunting you down. The host can choose to escape the Sea of Vengeful Souls or kill the giant tortoise. The system notification caught Yixian off guard. What was going on? F***ck, I was the one who saved you. Now you want to kill me? Yixian cursed in his heart. However, he knew that this must be the system's doing. Since that was the case, he would just run. The giant tortoise was an immortal beast comparable to a 6th-tier true immortal. Moreover, it was at the very minimum. Yixian was currently in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. It was extremely dangerous, so he chose to leave. In an instant, Yixian, who was standing on the Skyquake sword, turned into a ray of light and streaked across the sky, disappearing from everyone's sight. Even the master of the resentful soul island, who was a 4th-tier true immortal, could not keep up with his speed. Wei Zhentian, who was in the form of a flying sword, was no slower than a flying boat of the same level. Moreover, it was now a 3rd-tier true immortal treasure. Captain He Yuan's iron-locked flying boat had already left. Yixian used the death warrant to mark He Yuan and chased after her closely. The thunder in the Sea of Vengeful Souls would always hit a few individuals. In other words, people like Yixian who were standing on flying swords. However, the chances of those flying boats hanging on the iron lock were much lower. Therefore, Yixian had Wei Zhentian extend a chain and hang it on the iron lock. This way, he would no longer be an individual. However, not long after he left, he felt that something was wrong. The sound behind him did not seem to have stopped. Instead, it was getting closer and closer. What? That giant tortoise is actually chasing after me. Yixian was shocked. It was as if the system had placed a death warrant on him, and the pursuer was obviously that vengeful spirit tortoise. Since that was the case, he would just kill it. Chapter 1719. If I don't kill you, I won't be able to leave the Sea of Vengeful Spirits safely. Die. Yixian immediately had the intention to kill. He immediately summoned Old Tree and Ghost Dome Great Emperor. Old Tree was a 2nd-stage true immortal, while Ghost Dome Great Emperor and Wei Zhentian were both 3rd-stage true immortals. If they used their trump cards, they should be able to kill this vengeful spirit tortoise. Although they did not want to fight here, they had no other choice. Let's fight. Thousand Severing Slash. Yixian, who was an 8th-stage mystic immortal, first slashed at the vengeful spirit tortoise. Unfortunately, there was a huge difference between an 8th-stage mystic immortal and a 6th-stage true immortal. This time it did not trigger a one-hit kill, so this move was useless. Therefore, they could only fight head-on. 9 Dragon Sky Roaring Strike. Sword Blade Storm. Unicorn Descend. Everyone used their trump cards one after another. This time they summoned Unicorn Thunder, which had a slight enhancement effect in the Sea of Vengeful Spirits. At the same time, Yixian was also constantly attacking. Although he had already used the Thousand Severing Slash, the one-hit kill effect was not only triggered by the Thousand Severing Slash. This vengeful spirit tortoise's attack was very simple. Its back would suddenly erupt with a shockwave, causing the seawater to erupt. This kind of attack could not hurt Yixian. Boom! 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 Old Tree and the other two stared at the vengeful spirit tortoise's head and attacked continuously. This vengeful spirit tortoise's scales were very hard. They had to attack for a long time before they could break it. Since the scales were broken, the next step was easy. The Skyquake sword swept in and destroyed it from the inside. Not only that, even Yixian went in. Fast Dazzling Heavenly Fire Burn. Yixian continuously used the Blazing Heaven sword technique. Together with the Fast Dazzling Heavenly Fire, his attack power was not weak. In the blink of an eye, the vengeful spirit tortoise's body burned, causing it great pain. However, to kill it, The vengeful spirit tortoise's head had to be destroyed. However, when they tore through the giant tortoise's flesh and entered its brain, they discovered that there was actually an enormous blue stone in its brain. What the hell? Yi Xian raised his eyebrows, but he didn't think too much about it. He had Old Tree and the others destroy the tortoise's brain. Soon after, the tortoise's brain was poked into a hornet's nest, and then it died. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Then, Yi Xian approached the huge blue rock and collected it. Ding! The host has devoured the corpse of the vengeful spirit giant tortoise. 2 system notifications rang out, and Yi Xian's realm immediately soared. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a level 9 mystic immortal. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a rank 1 true immortal. The corpse of this vengeful spirit tortoise had allowed Yi Xian to break through twice. The benefits were not bad. However, this was not the end. Ding! Ghost Dome Great Emperor can fuse with the vengeful soul pearl. Will you fuse with it? The Ghost Dome Great Emperor can fuse with the vengeful spirit pearl? Hearing this, Yi Xian raised his eyebrows slightly and hurriedly agreed. Ding! The Ghost Dome Great Emperor has fused with the vengeful spirit pearl, and successfully evolved into the Azura Ghost Lord. Evolution! The Ghost Dome Great Emperor has actually evolved. Haha! Yi Xian couldn't help but laugh out loud. He hurriedly turned his head and saw that the Ghost Dome Great Emperor's appearance had also changed. The original white bone armor had turned black, and a gloomy aura spread out. Even the Ghost Dome Greatsword had turned into a demonic broadsword called Azura Slash. Then Yi Xian hurriedly checked the skills. The Ghost Dome Great Emperor originally had several skills, which were Grip of the Underworld, Elegy of Souls, Evil Descends, Death Will, and Death Gaze. The sky-shattering flowing rock slash had been blocked by Yi Xian previously, so it had disappeared. Now, the Grip of the Underworld, which required 1 point of Elegy of Souls enhancement each time it was used, had become the Grip of the Underworld, which didn't have any requirements and had 2 attacks. In addition, the Undying Battle Soul and Elegy of Souls enhancement had increased by 3 times. Death Gaze had also evolved into the Eye of the Azura, which could make anyone pregnant. Not bad, not bad. The current Ghost Dome Great Emperor. No, Azura Ghost Lord's strength is probably on the same level as the old tree. Yi Xian was very satisfied. This was really a fortuitous encounter. Now that the vengeful spirit tortoise was dead and its entire corpse had been devoured by Yi Xian, he could continue on his way. However, right at this moment, someone is coming. What a fast speed. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. With the Eye of Revelation, he saw a figure rushing towards him at high speed. Moreover, this demonic cultivator's physique was so strong that the Eye of Revelation couldn't penetrate it. A high-stage true immortal? Yi Xian was shocked. Someone he couldn't see through was at least a high-stage true immortal. Of course, he wouldn't be afraid if it was a 7th-stage true immortal. However, if it was an 8th-stage true immortal or even a 9th-stage true immortal, then there was nothing he could do. Even if the Ghost Dome Great Emperor had evolved into Azura Ghost Lord, it wouldn't help. Hand over the vengeful spirit bead and I'll spare your lives. The high-stage true immortal demonic cultivator shouted angrily. Vengeful spirit bead? Upon hearing this name, Yi Xian raised his eyebrows. Wasn't this what he had just devoured? This high-stage true immortal needed the vengeful spirit bead? However, the vengeful spirit bead had already been devoured by the Ghost Dome Great Emperor. This person isn't someone I can fight against right now. If he comes near, I'll be in danger. Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and then used his bloodline ability. Space-time bloodline ability, Time Reversal. In an instant, the scene around him changed. Whether it was time or time, everything changed. At this moment, Yi Xian was standing on the Vengeful Spirit Island, and it had just happened. Time Reversal allowed Yi Xian to return to a certain moment 1 day later. However, this ability could only be used once every 3 days, and after returning to the past, everything would return to the situation at that time. Moreover, he was the only one who knew that time had been reversed. Yi Xian, who had broken through to the 1st stage True Immortal Realm, dropped to the 8th stage Mystic Immortal Realm, and all of his abilities were restored. Those who had been killed by the giant tortoise spirit also came back to life. Just now I didn't want to fight the giant tortoise spirit, so I ran away. However, after I killed the tortoise spirit and devoured the vengeful spirit bead, that powerful demonic cultivator came for me. This time, I have to deal with him as soon as possible. Yixian thought to himself. Soon the vengeful spirit island sank again, and the giant tortoise spirit reappeared. Kill! Yixian immediately summoned the old tree, and the others to kill the giant tortoise spirit. 1,000 cleave. 9 dragons sky strike. Sword blade storm. Unicorn descend. Due to the time reversal, all of their abilities were off cooldown, so everyone once again used their trump cards. However, Yixian's luck was good this time. When the 1,000 cleave landed on the giant tortoise spirit, it actually triggered a one-hit kill. Ding! Host has triggered a one-hit kill. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Chapter 1720. Haha, I'm in luck. Yixian laughed out loud. Then he dashed over and put away the tortoise's corpse at lightning speed. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. The host is now a level 9 mystic immortal. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. The host is now a level 1 true immortal. Ding! The Ember of Thunderfire has made a breakthrough. The host is now a level 3 true immortal. Ding! The Ember of Thunderfire has made a breakthrough. The host is now a level 4 true immortal. System notifications rang out one after another. Yixian and Old Tree's cultivation levels increased twice. Since this was the corpse of an immortal beast, Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhanqian did not make a breakthrough. That demonic cultivator is after the resentful soul pearl. I'm afraid he'll be here soon. It's better to leave now. Yixian immediately blended into the crowd. At the same time, he changed his appearance to that of an ordinary true immortal. The sinking of the resentful soul island was not long after the death of the tortoise. Everyone was still in a daze, unable to react to what had happened. However, at this moment, Yixian was already sitting on He Yuan's iron lock flying boat, heading towards the northeast. Holy sh*T, that was close. I didn't expect there to be a powerful immortal beast under the resentful soul island. Who stole the sealing stone? Why did they do that? But what about that vengeful spirit tortoise? Did it dive? Who cares? It's good that we can escape. The tortoise died so quickly that the people in the airship did not see it clearly. They thought it had dived into the deep sea. Yixian blended into the crowd and remained silent. With his current strength, he could actually rob all the people in this iron chain flying ship. However, that high-level true immortal devil cultivator might catch up with him. At that time, he could also disguise himself. Fortunately, he had the space-time bloodline to turn back time. Otherwise, Yixian's chances of winning against the high-level true immortal demonic cultivator were less than 10%. For the rest of the journey, nothing much happened. However, on the 6th day, trouble came again. The expressions of the people in the iron lock flying ship suddenly changed because they felt a powerful aura. It's so strong. It's at least a mid-level true immortal. No, it should be a high-level true immortal. How could there be such a powerful true immortal in the Sea of Vengeful Souls? Could he be from the great country of Green Rainbow? In the iron lock flying ship, everyone looked at each other. At this moment, Yixian also felt that aura. He hurriedly turned his head and saw a figure rushing towards them. This person was actually the high-level true immortal demonic cultivator, who needed the resentment soul pearl. This was going to be troublesome. Last time that demonic cultivator had asked him for a resentful soul pearl, but this time he had directly attacked. He would rather kill 10,000 innocents by mistake than let one go. After all, he was a demonic cultivator. Moreover, this was an ownerless land. Who would care about him? Who? In the blink of an eye, the demonic cultivator arrived in front of the Iron Chain airship. With a single punch, he directly smashed the Iron Chain airship into pieces. Countless pieces of flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Those with lower cultivation realms were practically unable to dodge. Yixian had the ability to teleport, so he managed to dodge the attack. There are still over 100 survivors. Retreat! Yixian's eyes flickered. He immediately summoned Might Shocks the Heavens and turned it into a flying sword. At this moment, he was about to leave the Sea of Vengeful Souls, so the cooldown of time reversal was over. However, this time he did not intend to continue using time reversal. Perhaps that demonic cultivator would not be able to catch up to him. Old tree, go put on a show. Just in case, Yixian released Old Shu, who was at the 4th stage of the true immortal realm. Ha ha ha, you want the resentment soul pearl, right? It's in my hands. Old tree scurried back and laughed loudly. That demonic cultivator revealed a surprised expression when he heard this. He did need the resentment soul pearl to refine something, but how did this person know? However, since this person said so, then the resentment soul pearl must be in his hands. Die. Without another word, that demonic cultivator threw a punch at Old Tree. Although Old Tree was only a rank 4 true immortal, this demonic cultivator was already a rank 9 true immortal, and was not weak. With just one punch, half of Old Tree's body exploded. His demonic heart shattered, and he died immediately. However, before Old Tree died, he crushed an interspatial ring. No! That demonic cultivator widened his eyes. He did not expect that he was one step too slow. Once the interspatial ring was crushed, the items inside would disappear. And so would the resentment soul pearl. In order to vent his emotions, he decided to kill everyone around him. At this moment, Yixian was already on his sky-trembling flying sword and flying toward the northeast. He was so close to leaving the Sea of Vengeful Souls and completing that damned mission from the system. He had also seen the scene of Old Tree being killed. He reckoned that this demonic cultivator would not be able to find him so easily. The rest of the journey was smooth for a while. However, just as he was about to leave the Sea of Vengeful Souls, a team suddenly appeared in front of him. So strong. Their aura is not weaker than that demonic cultivator's. Yixian's eyes flickered. This team consisted of at least 7th grade true immortals. The strongest one was probably a 9th grade true immortal. At the same time, they were all wearing. These people should not have appeared in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. What was going on? Yixian ignored them and avoided them directly. Then, he left the Sea of Vengeful Souls and arrived on land. Ding! Host has completed the random mission. You can choose one of the following 3 rewards. Reward 1. Advance to the ultimate stage once. Reward 2. Advance to the 1000 severing / once. Reward 3. Increase the flow of time in the planting space by 100 times. These 3 rewards were very good. The ultimate stage was the weapon mastery, which increased all attacks by 10%. Increasing the flow of time in the planting space by 100 times was equivalent to 300 times. 300 days in the planting space was only 1 day in the outside world. However, this was nothing compared to the 1000 severing /. Yixian immediately chose the second reward, which was the advancement of the 1000 severing /. Ding! The 1000 severing / has been successfully advanced. After the advancement of the 1000 severing /, not only did the number of vibrations double, reaching 2000, but the triggering rate also increased. This effect was more than doubled. Your Excellency! At this moment, a shout suddenly sounded from behind Yixian. Yixian turned his head when he heard the voice. He saw that the team from before was actually rushing toward him. The leader of the team, a young man, took out a portrait and said, "We're chasing after this demonic cultivator. Have you seen him before?" Hearing this, Yixian focused his gaze on the portrait. After he finished looking at it, his body trembled. The person in the portrait was the high-level true immortal demonic cultivator, who had appeared in the Sea of Vengeful Souls. "I've seen him before." Yixian nodded. "Really?" Chapter 1721. How much do you have? Yixian's eyes lit up. Lu Zheng was very generous and directly threw a bag over. When Yixian saw the things inside, he couldn't help showing a satisfied expression. It's actually immortal crystals, which are of a higher grade than immortal stones. There are also some natural treasures. Yixian was delighted. He estimated that these things could at least help him break through to rank 3 true immortal. Okay, I'll take you to him. Yixian immediately agreed. He had already marked that demonic cultivator with a death hunting command, so it wouldn't be difficult to find him. Okay, step on this flying sword. Lu Zheng didn't waste time and threw him another flying sword. This flying sword was under his control. Yixian stepped on this flying sword and followed the group. Actually, the people behind Lu Zheng didn't understand why Lu Zheng wanted to find Yixian. After all, Yixian was only a rank 1 true immortal. Even if he had seen that demonic cultivator, He shouldn't have been able to find his exact location, right? However, Lu Zheng didn't think so. How could a person who could step on a flying sword and cross the sea of vengeful souls only be an ordinary rank 1 true immortal? Even a rank 5 true immortal wouldn't be able to cross the sea of vengeful souls alone. Of course, it would be a different story if he used an iron-locked flying boat. However, if he had an iron-locked flying boat, why would Yixian need to use a flying sword to travel? Most importantly, with Lu Zheng's many years of experience, he felt that Yixian was different from others. The things he gave Yixian just now were just a drop in the bucket for him. After all, he was a rank 9 true immortal. If he could catch that demonic cultivator, it wouldn't be a problem for him to spend 100 times more. That way, since Yixian had taken the other party's things, he didn't waste time and pointed to the southwest. How do you know that demonic cultivator is in that direction? Someone in the group asked, puzzled. That demonic cultivator went on a killing spree earlier. In order to avoid his pursuit, I left a tracking mark on him. Yixian explained. You, a rank 1 true immortal, want to leave a tracking mark on a rank 9 true immortal demonic cultivator? Someone immediately retorted. The people present were at least rank 7 true immortals, much higher than Yixian. Well, at least know that demonic cultivator entered the sea of vengeful souls. Let's follow the direction you pointed, said Lu Zheng. At this moment, he couldn't help but ask. But I know. But. Yixian lightly nodded and didn't ask any further. Oh. Lu Zheng nodded. Yixian had already left the Sea of Vengeful Souls, but he encountered this matter again. In fact, a large part of the reason was that the demonic cultivator had tried to kill him. With his vengeful character, how could he not take revenge? Lu Zheng was a rank 9 true immortal, only one step away from Daoyuo Golden Immortal. Even if he controlled 2 flying swords, his speed was very fast. Yixian estimated that with this speed, it would only take him 2 days to catch up with that demonic cultivator. In the following time, everyone was hurrying on with their journey. This little bit of time was nothing to Lu Zheng and the others. That rank 9 true immortal demonic cultivator had killed in the Sea of Vengeful Souls, and Yixian had the death hunting order. 2 days later, Yixian could clearly sense the demonic cultivator's location. We'll see him in half an hour, Yixian said. Very good. Lu Zheng nodded with satisfaction. Half an hour later, they really sensed a powerful aura. It's really him. After sensing it, Lu Zheng's body trembled. His intuition was right. Yixian really led them to that wanted demonic cultivator. Your Excellency, this is your reward. Without another word, Lu Zheng took out another bag and handed it to Yixian. Then they directly charged out. In this team, besides Lu Zheng, a rank 9 true immortal, there were 2 rank 8 true immortals and 7 rank 7 true immortals. These people were enough to deal with that demonic cultivator. You can actually track me down? That demonic cultivator had also sensed Lu Zheng and the others. He thought to himself, I didn't want to cause any trouble in the Green Rainbow Nation, so I spared your lives. I didn't expect you to dare to chase after me. You're courting death. At that moment, he directly charged over. A great battle broke out. Tisk tsk. There's a good show to watch. Yixian grinned. Then he dodged and continued to devour. At first, the things Lu Zheng gave him were enough for him to break through to rank 3 true immortal. Just now, he gave him more, which should be enough for him to break through to rank 4 true immortal. After all, his experience points were much more than the average person. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently, you are a rank 2 true immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently, you are a rank 3 true immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently, you are a rank 4 true immortal. Sure enough, after devouring those things, Yixian directly broke through several times. However, most of the rewards he received were immortal crystals, so the old tree was only a rank 6 true immortal. However, Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhentian had broken through to rank 8 true immortal. He estimated that Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhentian should be able to fight against a Daoyuo Golden Immortal. However, at that moment, ding! Host has triggered a chain random mission. First round, kill the target with your own hands. The sound of the system notification shocked Yixian. The target had been revealed. It was the demonic cultivator who was fighting with Lu Zhang and the others. If he's killed by others, then this chain random mission will most likely fail. Yixian thought to himself. Then, he directly released Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhentian. Rank 8 True Immortal. Kill him. Yixian immediately ordered the two of them. Not to mention Azura Ghost Lord, even Wei Zhentian could probably fight that demonic cultivator alone. If the two of them joined forces, it would definitely not be a problem. However, Lu Zhang and the others seemed to be a little powerless. They were being suppressed by that demonic cultivator. Damn it! His strength is actually so strong? Lu Zhang thought to himself, gnashing his teeth. He was also a rank 9 True Immortal. His opponent was also a rank 9 True Immortal. Although his opponent was a demonic cultivator, they had the advantage in numbers. Under such circumstances, they were still unable to kill the opponent. At that moment, he suddenly felt the aura of another rank 8 True Immortal. He turned his head and saw Azura Ghost Lord, who was wearing a black bone armor, quickly rushing over. Chapter 1722. Is that Yixian's flying sword? Lu Zhang recognized it immediately. Before he could react, Wei Zhentian, who was in the form of a flying sword, had joined the battle and stabbed the demonic cultivator. Undying fighting soul. Azura Ghost Lord roared to the sky and his aura surged. The undying fighting soul increased his combat strength by 3 times. Azura Ghost Lord's current strength was much stronger than old trees. Grasp of the Netherworld. Azura Ghost Lord stretched out his hand and a strong tearing force enveloped the demonic cultivator. Although the demonic cultivator had a strong physique and a higher realm than Azura Ghost Lord, he was still quickly pulled over. What? The demonic cultivator was shocked. He could not resist the tearing force with his realm. How could it be? By the time he reacted, Azura Ghost Lord's saber had already slashed down. Rip! In an instant, the demonic cultivator, who was a level 9 True Immortal, was cut in half. So was his demonic heart. Dead. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When the system notification sounded, Yixian's killing intent soared. Unfortunately, after merging with the immortal slaying bloodline, there was no upper limit to the killing intent. It could no longer be exchanged for devour points, which was a little tragic. However, devour points did not matter. After all, the bloodline made Yixian stronger among those of the same realm. As long as there were treasures, Yixian's realm could be improved without limit. Compared to improving the bloodline, leveling up was more important. Azura Ghost Lord took the demonic cultivator's interspatial ring and handed it to Yixian. Ding! Host has completed the first round of the chain random task. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a level 5 True Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a level 6 True Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Host is now a level 8 True Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Host is now a level 9 True Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Host is now a level 9 True Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Host is now a level 1 Great Golden Immortal. Azura Ghost Lord has broken through. Host is now a level 9 True Immortal. Ding! Ghost Lord Azura has made a breakthrough and is now a Tier 1 Great Golden Immortal. Unexpectedly, Wei Zhentian and Ghost Lord Azura both stepped into the perfected Golden Immortal stage after this battle. In fact, Immortals, Heaven Immortals, Spirit Immortals, Jade Immortals, Golden Immortals, and True Immortals were all considered ordinary Immortals. However, it was different to become a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal. A Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal possessed 7-colored immortal energy, which was much more powerful than a True Immortal's True Immortal energy. Yixian reckoned that even if he, the old tree, Wei Zhentian, and the others worked together, they would not be a match for the Azura Ghost Lord. On the other side, Lu Zhang and the others couldn't help but tremble violently when they sensed the aura coming from Ghost Venerate Azura. Duh! Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal? Lu Zhang could not help but ask. At the same time, he had no idea how this Ghost Lord Azura had come out. Everyone, don't worry. He's an immortal beast that I once tamed. At this moment, Yixian suddenly appeared beside Ghost Lord Azura and patted him on the shoulder. What? Lu Zhang and the others were astonished. Yixian, a first-stage True Immortal, had actually tamed a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal level ghost Lord Azura. What kind of joke was this? No, he wasn't a first-stage true immortal. A sixth-stage true immortal? Lu Zhang carefully sensed Yixian's aura and realized that something was amiss. Previously, he had thought that Yixian was only a first-stage true immortal. He did not expect that the other party had actually concealed his aura, and even he could not see through it. An extremely powerful concealment technique, this Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal level ghost Lord Azura, and that extraordinary flying sword made Lu Zhang and the others feel a strong sense of curiosity towards Yixian. I saw this demonic cultivator before, but I had other matters to attend to, so I had no time to deal with him. Today I saw that all of you seemed a little powerless, so I killed him. You don't have to take offense, Yixian said with a smile. No, he's a demonic cultivator wanted by our Green Rainbow Nation. His death counts as a completion of the mission. However, I implore you to hand over his corpse to us, Lu Zhang said respectfully. Corpses are of no use to me. Take it. Yixian waved his hand and the demonic cultivator's corpse was pushed over. This demonic cultivator refined the demonic hearts of vengeful spirits. He probably entered the sea of vengeful spirits in search of the vengeful spirit pearl, and wanted to use it to break through to the Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal level. Lu Zhang finished speaking and cupped his fists again. Thank you, sir, for eliminating this hidden danger for us. You're welcome. Yixian grinned. Actually, with his strength, it was already sufficient to rob Lu Zhang and the others. However, he did not do so now because he had triggered a chain random mission. He felt that this mission might have something to do with Lu Zhang. Otherwise, why would it be called a chain random mission? Sir, why don't you come to my residence and have a seat? Lu Zhang suddenly said. Yixian was a rank 6 true immortal. His concealment technique was so brilliant that even he could not see through it. Moreover, he was able to tame a Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal level immortal beast. He was definitely not an ordinary person. This kind of person was worth recruiting. Just as Lu Zhang finished speaking, the sound of a system notification rang out in Yixian's mind. Ding! Host has triggered the second round of the chain random mission. Assist Lu Zhang in completing the escort mission. Hearing this, Yixian could not help but feel a little strange. What kind of escort mission did this Lu Zhang have? However, this confirmed that this Lu Zhang was related to this chain random mission. Therefore, he had to agree. That's fine. I also have some things I want to inquire about. Yixian grinned. What is it? Lu Zhang asked in astonishment. I came this time to inquire about the entrance to the demonic world. I hate demonic cultivators, so I want to go to the demonic world to train, Yixian said. Hearing this, Lu Zhang's expression suddenly became serious. The entrance to the demonic world? My Green Rainbow Great Nation once had an entrance to the demonic world opened, but it was later forcibly closed. I'm not very clear about the specifics. Why don't I go back and investigate? Alright, then I'll trouble you. Yixian nodded. It was because of this reason that he did not release the old tree. After all, the old tree had fused with the purple extreme demon heart, and was a demonic cultivator. A demonic cultivator was hated by everyone in the immortal world. If the old tree was released, it would cause some unnecessary trouble. Following this, Yixian followed Lu Zhang to the Green Rainbow Great Nation. They moved very quickly and arrived at the border of the Green Rainbow Great Nation in less than 3 days. As an official of the Green Rainbow Great Nation, Lu Zhang could easily pass through the pass. Then, they used a nearby teleportation array, and were directly transported to the imperial capital of the Green Rainbow Great Nation. The Great General's residence? When Yixian found out where Lu Zhang lived, he could not help but tremble. Chapter 1723. So that's how it is. Yixian nodded slightly and then followed Lu Zhang into the Great General's mansion. Who would have thought that Lu Zhang was actually the son of an official, the Great General of the Qinghong Kingdom? This official position was not low. However, what surprised Yixian the most was that after Lu Zhang returned, he directly went into seclusion for 3 days and then broke through to the Golden Immortal Realm. 3 days later, Lu Zhang came out of seclusion and then went to find Yixian to drink and eat meat. Sorry. That battle suddenly broke the shackles and I came back to seclusion for 3 days. I've really let Brother Yi down, Lu Zhang said with a face of guilt. It's only 3 days. It's nothing. Yixian said with a smile. 3 days was indeed nothing to him. He was afraid that Lu Zheng would go into seclusion for 3 years, 30 years, or even 300 years. One had to know that Lu Zheng had already lived for tens of thousands of years. 300 years was really nothing to him. Lu Zheng broke through from the 9th grade true immortal to the golden immortal realm. He was in a good mood and directly drank with Yixian for a day. Only when one stepped into the golden immortal realm could one be considered a top figure in the Qinghong kingdom. Otherwise, one would be an ordinary person. However, Yixian came to the Qinghong kingdom this time not to drink and make friends with Lu Zheng, but for the chain random mission. The second part of the chain random mission was to assist Lu Zheng in completing the escort mission. However, this mission had not been completed yet. This made Yixian very helpless. However, on the 5th day, Lu Zheng came again. Brother Yi, in a few days, I will have to lead a team to escort the princess of my country to the Tianqin kingdom. I'm afraid I won't be able to accompany you for a drink. Lu Zheng said. Princess? Escort? Yixian raised his eyebrows. Yes, my Qinghong kingdom has already formed a marriage alliance with the Tianqin kingdom. This time, I will escort the princess to the Tianqin kingdom, and let the princess marry the prince of the Tianqin kingdom. Lu Zheng replied. Hearing this, Yixian's eyes lit up. It seemed that the second part of the chain random mission was this. Since that's the case, why don't I go too? Yixian suggested. That's great, then I won't be bored on the way. Lu Zheng immediately agreed. Previously, he had led his men to capture that demonic cultivator only for the sake of gaining experience. He was actually a general of the great country of Green Rainbow. Of course, under normal circumstances, the general of the great nation of Green Rainbow was at least at the great golden immortal level. But don't forget, Lu Zheng's grandfather was a great general. This time, with the flying boat provided by the royal family, the round trip will take about a month. In addition, there are a few generals with me. One of them is a 3rd grade great golden immortal. That's my grandfather. Lu Zheng said. A 3rd-tier golden immortal? Yixian narrowed his eyes and nodded slightly. Due to the appearance of the chain random mission, he felt that this escort mission would not be simple. There would definitely be danger, so he had to be careful. Very soon 3 days had passed. 3 days later, a group of people had gathered in front of the general's mansion. All of them were experts at the level of golden immortals. Why is there a 6th-stage true immortal here? Someone asked in surprise. Shua, that's young master's friend. Don't talk nonsense. When Lu Zheng saw Yixian, he immediately came up to him and said, My grandfather will be here soon. As soon as his voice fell, a huge figure swept across the sky. It was a luxuriously decorated flying boat. A good flying boat. Yixian narrowed his eyes and sighed in his heart. He estimated that this flying boat was probably comparable to a 4th grade great golden immortal. It was not something that ordinary people could own. Only the royal family of the great country of Green Rainbow had the financial resources to build it. At this time, the flying boat suddenly opened a cabin door. Let's go in. At Lu Zheng's order, everyone rushed into the cabin door. This flying boat was full of great golden immortals. There were more than 100 of them in total. At the same time, the strongest one was a 3rd grade great golden immortal, Lu Zheng's grandfather, General Lu Heng. General Lu glanced at Yixian but did not say anything. Then he controlled the flying boat and left. In this flying boat, there was a heavily guarded room. A beautiful woman sat inside. Although her cultivation was not high, she had reached the 9th stage true immortal realm. She was the princess of the great country of Green Rainbow. This time, she was going to be married to the Tianqin great country. Yixian and Lu Zheng found a seat and continued to drink and chat. Not only that, Yixian also summoned Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhentian. After all, something would definitely happen on this journey. Soon, this flying boat left the great country of Green Rainbow and headed for the Tianqin great country. Nothing happened on the journey. However, on the 10th day, suddenly, a flying boat stopped Yixian and the others' flying boat. Who are you, scoundrel? Lu Heng shouted angrily. TSK, TSK, TSK. So it's General Lu. Long time no see. Suddenly, an old voice sounded. Then, an illusory figure condensed between the two flying boats. When Lu Heng saw the person's face, his expression changed greatly. General Lu of the great country of Haiyuan. He Yao? This is the first time we've met. I didn't expect General Lu to recognize me. This old man is really gratified. He Yao grinned. Let's cut the crap. What do you want to do by stopping us? Lu Heng snorted. He Yao smiled again. This time you're going to the Tianqin great country, right? Lu Heng's expression turned cold again. He did not expect the news to be leaked to the enemy of the great country of Haiyuan. Suddenly, an ominous premonition arose spontaneously. Just say what you want to say. Lu Heng snorted. Okay, then I'll say it. He Yao grinned. This time you're going to marry the Tianqin great country, right? When the time comes, you'll join forces to fight against my great country of Haiyuan. So you're here to stop us? Lu Heng asked. No, I'm taking the opportunity to destroy you. He Yao's eyes flashed with killing intent. With just you? Lu Heng's eyes widened. This time, the great country of Green Rainbow had sent him because they were afraid that there would be a mistake. Let's cut the crap. This day next year will be the anniversary of your death. He Yao shouted angrily. He directly controlled the flying boat under his command and launched an attack. At the same time, Lu Heng controlled the flying boat and launched an attack. These two flying boats were 4th grade Great Golden Immortals. Their attack power was huge, and each attack consumed an astronomical amount of immortal crystals. Rumble. The two flying boats bombarded each other once, but no one gained the upper hand. If this continued, there would be no clear winner. So both sides opened the cabin door and started killing. However, this time, the great country of Haiyuan had come prepared. Other than He Yao, a 3rd grade Great Golden Immortal, there were 2 other 3rd grade Great Golden Immortals. Although Lu Heng's strength was strong and was already at the peak of the 3rd grade Great Golden Immortal, it was difficult for him to fight 1 against 3. Chapter 1724. At this moment, Yixian ordered Azura Ghost Venerate and Wei Zhentian to help. Azura Ghost Venerate and Wei Zhentian were both 1st grade Great Golden Immortals. It would not be a problem for them to deal with a 3rd grade Great Golden Immortal. Undying Fighting Soul. Yixian's eyes flickered. In the next moment, Azura Ghost Venerate activated his Undying Fighting Soul. In an instant, his and Wei Zhentian's strength skyrocketed by 3 times. Coupled with the flying sword form, Wei Zhentian's strength was not weak. However, this was not the end. Azura Ghost Venerate. Activate the Eye of Azura and start a massacre. Yixian transmitted his voice again. The Eye of Azura was comprehended by Ghost Dome Great Emperor after he became Azura Ghost Venerate. This was the first time Azura Ghost Venerate had activated the Eye of Azura. A hole opened in Azura Ghost Venerate's chest. A black eye opened and a gloomy aura spread out. When the Eye of Azura was activated, Azura Ghost Venerate was the real Azura Ghost Venerate. The 1st grade Great Golden Immortals from Haiyuan country only took 1 look at it, and their immortal hearts shattered into pieces. Dozens of people from Haiyuan country died in an instant. After these people died, a strand of invisible aura swept toward Azura Ghost Venerate. Once the Eye of Azura was activated, it would start a massacre. This skill was similar to Yixian's killing feast. The more people died, the stronger Azura Ghost Venerate would become. What a strange eye. Be careful. He Yao shouted in a low voice. His expression turned solemn as he felt that something was wrong. Something was wrong. That was right. Eye of Azura. Divine Light of Azura. At this moment, Azura Ghost Venerate absorbed the death aura of the dead. The Eye of Azura on his chest suddenly blinked and released a terrifying black light beam. Be careful. He Yao shouted and dodged the attack himself. However, the 2 2nd grade Great Golden Immortals and a 3rd grade Great Golden Immortal behind him were not so lucky. They were directly blasted into pieces by the divine light of Azura. The gap between the strength of both parties was pulled apart instantly. What a powerful immortal beast! He Yao and the other 3rd grade Great Golden Immortal could not help but think. This happened too suddenly. They did not have time to react. A 3rd grade Great Golden Immortal was killed. Good chance kill. Seeing this, Lu Heng immediately led the experts under his command and charged forward. Originally, they wanted to escort the princess away, but now it seemed that there was no need for that. With the addition of the Azura Ghost Venerate, the situation instantly became one-sided. Coupled with the fact that Wei Zhentian's flying sword was collecting the universe rings, this battle would most likely last 5 seconds at most. After Wei Zhentian collected the Qianquan rings, Yi Xian stored them into the planting space. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a rank 7 true immortal. Ding! Host has made a breakthrough. Host is now a rank 8 true immortal. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a rank 9 true immortal. The interspatial rings of the 2 Tier 2 Great Overarching Golden Immortals and the Tier 3 Great Overarching Golden Immortals were destroyed by the Shura Divine Light. Now Yi Xian's interspatial rings belong to the group of first-grade Daoyuo Golden Immortals. However, this was enough. Yi Xian had advanced by 3 realms, and so had Ghoul Lord Azura, who had advanced from 1st tier to 4th tier perfected Golden Immortal. Now, everyone present had lower realms than Ghoul Lord Azura, so who could be his match? Not to mention him, even Wei Zhentian was already a 4th tier perfected Golden Immortal. In the form of a flying sword, his speed was off the charts. Kacha! 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 A series of crisp sounds were heard, and Wei Zhentian instantly stabbed the remaining people to death, including the general of the Haiyuan country, He Yao. This was not the main point. The main point was that Ghoul Lord Azura had the Will of Death skill. Those who died were resurrected and became his puppets. Seeing this, Lu Heng and the others were so shocked that they could not speak. In this battle, they did not seem to have played any role. It was completely Ghoul Lord Azura who killed them all alone. Before they could react, Yi Xian had already collected the spoils of war, including the flying boat of the Haiyuan country. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough and is now a 1st tier perfected Golden Immortal. Another notification sounded from the system. Yi Xian had finally broken through to the perfected Golden Immortal realm. At the same time, Ghoul Lord Azura and Wei Zhentian's realms increased again, becoming 5th tier perfected Golden Immortals. Now, even the king of the Haiyuan country could not do anything to Yi Xian, let alone He Yao. However, Yi Xian was currently carrying out a chain of random missions, so he could not make a move for the time being. Yi Xian, what is this immortal beast of yours? Lu Zheng came over and asked in shock. It evolved from the Ghost Dome Great Emperor. Yi Xian replied casually, then asked, what is the strongest person in the Haiyuan country? The strongest person is the king of the Haiyuan country, a 5th tier perfected Golden Immortal. However, all 3 of our countries have backgrounds in the Ancient Immortal Realm. Lu Zheng answered. Ancient Immortal Realm? Yi Xian raised an eyebrow, not understanding what this was. If the Immortal Realm was the Immortal Realm, why was there an Ancient Immortal Realm? The strongest person in the Qinghong country, Tianqin country, and Haiyuan country is only a 5th tier perfected Golden Immortal. However, there are some forces in the Ancient Immortal Realm who are betting on the 3 countries. Lu Zheng paused for a moment before he continued. They won't allow any of our countries to be destroyed. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and asked, oh? How strong are they? Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials. Lu Zheng answered. Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials were the realm below perfected Golden Immortals. Although Ghoul Lord Azura was a 5th tier perfected Golden Immortal, he was still no match for an overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. Moreover, there were different levels of overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials as well. Initially, Yi Xian wanted to destroy the Haiyuan country directly. However, he did not expect that all 3 countries had powerful backgrounds. It seemed like there was no other way. In that case, let's continue our journey. Yi Xian did not ask any more questions. Now that the obstacle had been dealt with, the next step was to escort the princess of the Qinghong country to the Tianqin country and complete the chain of random missions. However, Yi Xian felt that this speed was a little too slow. Your speed is too slow. I'll bring Lu Zheng and Princess Yi Xian directly to the Tianqin country. Yi Xian suddenly suggested. This. Lu Heng and the others hesitated when they heard this. Their mission was to escort the princess to the Tianqin country to complete the wedding. However, they were a little worried about letting Yi Xian bring the princess. After all, Yi Xian was not from the Qinghong country. Don't worry. When I reach the Tianqin country, I have a way to bring you there directly. Yi Xian did not wait for them to speak before he continued. With our strength, if we take the princess by force, you won't be able to stop us. Chapter 1725. Although they did not understand why Ghost Lord Azura's realm had suddenly skyrocketed, they could feel that his aura was extremely powerful. He was at least a Tier 4 Great Golden Immortal. Of course, Ghost Lord Azura's actual realm was already a Tier 5 Great Golden Immortal. His combat strength was probably comparable to a Tier 7, Tier 8, or even a Tier 9 Great Golden Immortal. Lu Heng and the rest could only nod helplessly. Alright, then I'll take Lu Zheng and the princess first. Yixian grinned. A force wrapped around Lu Zheng and the princess of Qinghong Great Golden Immortal Nation and instantly left. Wei Zhentian's flying sword form could at most carry 3 people, so Yixian and the other 2 were just right. The chain random mission was to assist Lu Zheng in completing the escort mission, so Lu Zheng had to be there. The target of the escort was the princess, so the princess had to be there too. If they were to travel at the same speed as before, it would still take half a month, but now that Wei Zhentian was a Tier 5 Great Golden Immortal, it would take at most 2 days. However, things were not that simple. Originally, the battle between Qinghong Great Golden Immortal Nation, Tianqing Great Golden Immortal Nation and Haiyuan Great Golden Immortal Nation was not allowed to interfere. However, Ghost Lord Azura's strength was too shocking, so he was considered to have interfered. Just as Yixian was about to reach Tianqing Great Golden Immortal Nation, a figure in the distance attracted his attention. What a fast speed! Yixian raised his eyebrows and quickly focused his eyes to see that it was a young man. However, the young man's aura was incomparably powerful. A Tier 7 Great Golden Immortal? A Tier 8 Great Golden Immortal? Or a Tier 9 Great Golden Immortal? Yixian thought to himself. He was only a Tier 1 Great Golden Immortal now. Due to the huge gap between their realms, he could not see through the young man. In any case, the young man could not be from the 3 great nations. He should be from the ancient immortal world. Looks like a battle is inevitable. Yixian thought to himself. In the next moment, he heard the young man's voice. Kid, you've broken the rules. The young man said coldly. Rules? What rules? Yixian asked with narrowed eyes. I'm afraid the situation between the 3 nations will be broken by the immortal beast by your side, so I can't just watch, the young man replied. Oh? Azura is a Great Golden Immortal. But he's a Great Golden Immortal? Yixian said. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Zheng, who was behind Yixian, also added, Yes, Yixian is now an official of our Cyan Rainbow country. Shut up, the young man shouted coldly. Lu Zheng's neck shrank in fear. He knew where this young man came from. He must be from the ancient immortal world. Was not the immortal Tedlied. Immortal God divine? Courses kill immortal. The immortal is the great immortal God mortal immortal mortal kill immortal mortal great mortal thousand. Yixian was only a Tier 1 Golden Immortal. Even if he had 10,000 clones, he wouldn't be able to withstand a single move from him. Of course, the Azura Ghost Lord was not a threat to him. 1-1. Yixian roared in his heart. In an instant, Ghost Overlord Azura and Wei Zhentian flew out together. Undying War Soul. Storm of Swords. The young man did not mind at all when he saw this. He merely struck with his palm. He was a Great Golden Immortal. Let alone a Great Golden Immortal like Azura Ghost Celestial. Even a Great Golden Immortal would not be able to withstand his attack. Alas, he was wrong. Azura Ghost Celestial's Undying War Soul had increased his strength by 3 times. Coupled with the Elegy of Souls and Yixian's treasure, his strength increased by 7 times. However, Azura Ghost Celestial managed to neutralize the young man's palm attack with just 1 strike. How's this possible? The young man was shocked. I'm a Great Golden Immortal. I'm only 1 step away from becoming an overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. How could my attack be so easily blocked? Before he could recover from his shock, Wei Zhentian had already charged toward him. Wei Zhentian had the Undying War Soul as well. His attack was 7 times stronger. Moreover, he was in the form of a flying sword. His speed was fast enough to pose a threat to the young man. It was humiliating for a Great Golden Immortal to be challenged by someone with a higher cultivation base. All of you must die. The young man roared as he unleashed his 7-colored celestial force. A terrifying aura spread in the air. This is bad. He's going to go crazy. Yi Xian's expression changed drastically. Although Azura Ghost Celestial and Wei Zhentian were strong, they were not a match for the young man in a fight. At this moment there was only one way to kill the young man. Death Hunt Command. Extreme Void Shield. Eye of Assassination. While the other party was in shock, Yi Xian suddenly arrived behind the young man and slashed out with his sword. 1,000 Cleaving Slash. This time, the 1,000 Cleaving Slashes effect had increased to 2,000 points. Moreover, the activation rate had increased as well. He might be able to kill the young man in an instant. Unfortunately, Yi Xian was only a first-grade Great Golden Immortal, while his opponent was a 9th-grade Great Golden Immortal. There was an 8-grade difference between the two of them. Although the attack landed on the young man's body, it did not even break through the young man's Celestial Force defense. Humph, how dare a mere first-grade Great Golden Immortal sneak attack me? The young man snorted. Although he was a little surprised by Yi Xian's attack, he knew that it would not hurt him even if it was 100-fold stronger. Die! A majestic 7-colored celestial force was blasted away. If an ordinary person was nearby, their celestial heart would be shattered and they would die. Even a demonic cultivator would not be spared. However, Yi Xian had used the extreme void shield before he rushed over. In addition, the young man did not use his full strength in this attack, so it was absorbed by the young man. Tremble! Yi Xian released the extreme void shield and its power tripled. This time it broke through the young man's 7-colored celestial force defense. However, after breaking through the 7-colored celestial force, it did not hurt the young man. How can you break through my defense? How is that possible? The young man was shocked again. Before he could react, Yi Xian flashed behind him again. This time, he was blocked by the young man's 7-colored celestial force. At first, Yi Xian wanted to try devouring by force. However, since he could not even touch the young man's body, he naturally could not devour him. There's no way to deal with this. We can only leave. Yi Xian's eyes flashed. He teleported to Lu Zheng and the Princess of Qinghong's side and forcibly put them into the planting space. You want to leave? Stay. Without another word, the young man blocked their path with his 7-colored celestial force. However, there were not many people who could stop Yi Xian if he wanted to escape. The Eye of the Void. Yi Xian's eyes flashed and he darted in. Chapter 1726. Whoosh! The void gate closed, and Yi Xian and the others disappeared from the young man's sight. He ran away? The young man was so shocked that he was speechless. Not only was he challenged by someone of a higher level, but he even ran away. How was that possible? At that moment he quickly rushed out and randomly found a direction in an attempt to drag Yi Xian out. However, Yi Xian had returned to the place where he fought with He Yao. No matter how fast the young man was, it would take him half a day to arrive. He would wait for a while and then return to complete the second round of the chain random mission. After returning, Yi Xian waited for a while. With the help of the Death Hunt token, he could clearly feel that the young man was coming toward him. Has an imprint been left in my body? Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. However, Wei Zhentian probably did not have it. Whoosh! In an instant, Yi Xian opened another Eye of the Void and let Wei Zhentian enter it. The others were a burden to Yi Xian, so he kept them all in the planting space. He did not want to expose this secret, but he had no choice now. This young man will find me in 2 hours at most. I have to put some distance between us and use the Eye of the Void to keep him busy. Yi Xian secretly said in his heart as he quickly left the area. Although he was fast, the young man was a 9th stage Great Golden Immortal, so he was even faster. 2 hours passed quickly. Yi Xian felt that the young man was about to arrive, so he quickly broke through the void and returned to the place where he fought the young man. I'm back there again? The young man was shocked. He did leave a mark on Yi Xian, but he did not expect the young man to suddenly return. This meant that he had to travel for another 2 hours. What a good move. After I kill you, I'll search your soul. The young man's eyes flashed with killing intent again. Then he turned around and rushed back. At this moment, Yi Xian was letting Wei Zhentian travel while he dealt with the young man. Anyway, there was a long distance between them. Even if the young man rushed over at full speed, it would still take him 2 hours. If one time was 2 hours, then 12 times would be a day. After more than 10 times, Wei Zhenqian flew to the capital of Tianqin Kingdom alone, and then Yixian broke through the void. The princess was successfully sent to Tianqin Kingdom. Yixian also completed the second round of the chain random mission. Host has completed the second round of the chain random mission. The young man was still rushing toward Tianqin Kingdom, but Yixian was already in front of the palace. It's a pleasure. The one who came out to greet him was the crown prince. When he saw Lu Heng, he couldn't help but smile. So it's your highness, the crown prince. This old man is shocked. Lu Heng quickly replied. After a while, they were invited into the palace. Oh right, General Lu. Why did you guys seem to be ahead of schedule? The crown prince of Tianqin Kingdom asked. That's right. Our plan was to reach Tianqin Kingdom within a month, but we were intercepted by Haiyuan Kingdom. Lu Heng nodded. The crown prince was shocked. Haiyuan Kingdom? That's right. This time, Haiyuan Kingdom sent 3 third-grade Great Golden Immortal Generals. Fortunately, a hermit cultivator came from Qinghong Kingdom and wiped out He Yao and the rest. After Lu Heng finished speaking, he couldn't help but turn to look at Yixian. Hermit cultivator? The crown prince followed his gaze and realized that Yixian was only a first-grade Great Golden Immortal. With his second-grade Great Golden Immortal realm, he could only sense that Yixian was only a first-grade Great Golden Immortal, so he guessed that he couldn't see through Yixian. The strength of Qinghong Kingdom was similar to that of Tianqin Kingdom. The hermit cultivator of the royal family was at least a fourth-grade Great Golden Immortal, so the crown prince also thought that Yixian was a fourth-grade Great Golden Immortal. Greetings, senior. The crown prince hurriedly said. Rise. Yixian pretended to be profound and waved his hand. In fact, when they arrived at Tianqin Kingdom's capital, Lu Zheng, Lu Heng, and the rest were all under Yixian's control to prevent the news from leaking. In other words, the current third-grade Great Golden Immortal Lu Heng was Yixian's puppet. Naturally, he wouldn't expose Yixian. Haiyuan Kingdom sent experts to intercept General Lu. They're probably afraid that our 2 kingdoms will join forces. If that's the case, even the ancient immortal realm won't be able to say anything, the crown prince thought. Then he brought Yixian and the rest to meet the king of Tianqin Kingdom. Tianqin Great Nation, Cyan Rainbow Great Nation, and Haiyuan Great Nation. The kings of the 3 great nations were all at the level of a 5th-grade Great Golden Immortal. In order to not look down on the other party, Yixian specially summoned the Azura Ghost Sovereign to suppress the situation. Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhenqian were both 5th-grade Great Golden Immortals. Even if the entire royal family's experts were to mobilize, they wouldn't be able to do anything to them. When the king of Tianqin Kingdom saw the crown prince's introduction, he couldn't help but size up Yixian. What royal family's hidden cultivator? He was clearly just a first-grade Great Golden Immortal. However, even he couldn't see through Azura Ghost Lord beside Yixian. So strong. That 9th-grade Great Golden Immortal from the ancient immortal realm will probably be here soon. Since that's the case, I'll catch him off guard. Yixian's eyes flashed as he made a decision in his heart. Without waiting for the king of Tianqin Kingdom to speak, Yixian directly ordered Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhenqian. Whoosh! In an instant, the Azura Ghost Exalted Ghost charged forth. With lightning speed, he seized the initiative. By the time everyone reacted, Azura Ghost Lord's black broadsword was already resting on the shoulder of the king of Tianqin Kingdom. He could slash down at any time and cut the king's immortal heart in half. Protect the king! The personal bodyguard of the king of Tianqin Kingdom shouted loudly. However, even the king of Tianqin Kingdom, a 5th-grade Great Golden Immortal, was seized in an instant. What was the use of these people? You, what are you doing? The king of Tianqin Kingdom shrank his neck and asked in horror. At this moment, Yixian had already used the Eye of Assassination to come behind the king of Tianqin Kingdom, and then took off his Qiankuan ring. He was the monarch of a large country, and the strongest expert in a large country at that. Although his interspatial ring was not part of the national treasury, he still had many more things than Lu Heng and the others. After obtaining this Qiankuan ring, Yixian's aura instantly soared. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently a 2nd-grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Currently a 3rd-grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhenqian has broken through. Currently a 6th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Currently a 7th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Azura Ghost Lord has broken through. Currently a 6th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Azura Ghost Lord has broken through. Currently a 7th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Lightning Ember has broken through. Currently a 5th grade Great Golden Immortal. Chapter 1727. Azura Ghost Lord was originally a 5th grade Great Golden Celestial, but after devouring the interspatial ring of the monarch of Tianqin Great Country, his strength had skyrocketed by 2 realms. Now there was no one in this place who could stop him. At this moment, the surrounding people were still unaware of the situation. Even Lu Heng and the others who were under Yixian's control were the same. Now the monarch of Tianqin Great Country is me, Yixian. Yixian suddenly looked around and announced loudly. Everyone present was shocked. Holding the monarch hostage in someone else's territory, and then becoming the monarch himself? Yixian added. My Azura Ghost Lord is a 7th grade Great Golden Celestial. He's not someone you can fight against. A 7th grade Great Golden Celestial. When these words came out, everyone was shocked. How could such a powerful person appear in this place? This was impossible. Could it be that he was from the ancient celestial world? The monarch of Tianqin Great Country asked in shock. Sir, could it be that you're from the ancient celestial world? Yixian thought for a moment, then said, I'm not from the ancient celestial world, but I'll go there sooner or later. Forget it, I don't want to be the monarch anymore. There's no need for that. Now he was no longer afraid of the young man. Now that the young man was about to arrive, it was time to take revenge for yesterday. Although the Tianqin Great Nation wasn't bad to the current Yixian, he already didn't think much of it. He was interested in the young man. In this world, the strong are respected. Don't blame me for stealing your interspatial ring. Now, even if an overarching heavenly supreme immortal comes, I'm not afraid. After Yixian finished speaking, he stepped on Wei Zhentian, who had broken through to 7th grade Great Golden Celestial, and left the imperial city of Tianqin Great Country. He was not interested in the battle between the 3 countries. However, he had broken the balance between the 3 countries. If he did not kill the young man from the ancient celestial world, there would be no end to it. Yesterday, Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhentian had joined forces to barely hold the young man back. However, today Azura Ghost Lord and Wei Zhentian had both broken through twice in a row. If Azura Ghost Lord went all out, he could kill the young man in an instant. Ding! Host has triggered the 3rd round of the chain random quest. Kill Chang Kongqing from the ancient immortal world and obtain the ancient immortal token. At this moment, a system notification sounded. The 3rd round of the chain random mission was finally here. Even though Zhang Xian had no idea what the ancient immortal token was, he was certain that it would be useful to him. That youth had left a mark on Yixian, so he had already rushed into Tianqin Great Empire. Coincidentally, Yixian went up to meet him. Very soon the two of them met again. A 3rd stage Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal? Chang Kongqing was shocked. When he saw Yixian yesterday, Yixian was only a 1st grade Great Golden Immortal. How did Yixian suddenly increase 2 realms in just one day? Brat, you actually managed to escape from me. You're quite capable. Chang Kongqing only said coldly. His plan was to capture Yixian and search his soul to obtain Yixian's method of breaking through the void. However, Yixian did not want to waste time with him. He summoned Azura Ghost Lord. Undying Fighting Soul. Grasp of the Netherworld. An invisible and powerful force enveloped Chang Kongqing. Following that was the 2nd attack of the Grasp of the Netherworld. Kacha! The youth's body was crushed into pieces. Even the immortal heart in his body was shattered. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. When the system notification sounded, Yixian had already rushed over and kept the youth's Qian Kuan ring. Immediately after, Yixian devoured all the heavenly and earthly treasures inside. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a 4th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is now a 5th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Host is now a 8th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. Host is now a 9th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Azura Ghost Lord has broken through. Host is now a 8th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Azura Ghost Lord has broken through. Host is now a 9th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Ember of Thunder Fire has broken through. Host is now a 7th grade Great Golden Immortal. Ding! Ember of Thunder Fire has broken through. Host is now a 8th grade Great Golden Immortal. His realm had actually soared up by 2 levels again. However, this time Yixian's luck had run out. When he heard the next notification, his face fell. Ding! Host's bewitchment value has reached 60. Hearing this, Yixian raised his eyebrows and quickly checked the bewitchment value. If the realm increases too quickly, the bewitchment value will increase rapidly. If it reaches 100, I will be bewitched? Yixian was shocked. Bewitchment, and it was not an ordinary bewitchment. Once the bewitchment value reached 100, he would lose his mind and would not be able to recover. In short, Yixian would become a different person. He would be replaced by a bloodthirsty demon. How could this be? No, I can't be bewitched. Yixian could not help but gulp. When the bewitchment value reached 100, he would be bewitched. Now that he had reached 60, perhaps the next time he broke through, it might soar to 90. How could that be? At that moment, he quickly checked the immortal level devouring system to see if there was anything to reduce the bewitchment value. What? 1 devouring point to reduce the bewitchment value by 10. My 60 points actually need 6 devouring points. Yixian wanted to cry but had no tears. The current him did not even have a single devouring point. Of course, the bewitchment value could be recovered. In his current situation, the bewitchment value would decrease by 1 every month. In other words, if he did not level up, he could return to normal in 5 years. However, 5 years was a very long time for him. Oh, I can also find specific things to reduce the bewitchment value. Yixian sighed in relief. To reduce the bewitchment value, other than being able to recover over time and use devouring points to clear it, he could also find specific things to recover it. For example, the tranquil sacred lotus, the 100 bright flower, and so on. In short, Yixian did not dare to level up his realm easily. This was a bit of a scam. However, at this point it was useless to say anything. Ding! The host has completed the 3rd round of the chain random quest. Reward: Megatron activating the flying boat form. The system prompted. Flying boat form? At this moment, Yixian raised his eyebrows. He already had the flying boat system. How could there be another flying boat form? He immediately checked the flying boat system and found that Megatron had become his life-bound flying boat. Chapter 1728. Yixian immediately ordered Wei Zhentian to transform into the form of a flying boat. It was similar to an ordinary flying boat. Fortunately, the appearance could be altered. Wei Zhentian was now a level 7 great overarching golden celestial. If he transformed into the flying boat, his defense would be so strong that even an overarching heavenly supreme celestial would not be able to hurt him. As long as he hid inside the flying boat, Yixian's safety would be guaranteed. Of course, this was because he had sacrificed his attack and speed in exchange for his defense. That was why his defense was so strong. Right, the ancient immortal token. Yixian suddenly thought of a problem. The chain random mission had asked him to find an ancient immortal token. Since he had kept everything in the interspatial ring into the devouring system, Yixian had obtained the ancient immortal token by default. Yixian immediately searched for it. Activate system analysis. Yixian looked at the ancient immortal token and muttered in his heart. This was the new ability of the devouring system, after it was upgraded to the celestial grade. He could use the system to analyze something. The celestial grade devouring system analyzed the ancient immortal token through Yixian's eyes, and came to a conclusion. The ancient immortal token is the only key that connects the ancient immortal world and the outer immortal world. Yixian was slightly shocked when he saw this. In other words, the ancient immortal token was the only key to enter the ancient immortal world. If I close the entrance to the ancient immortal world, the people in the ancient immortal world won't be able to enter the outer immortal world. Yixian thought to himself. He could go to the ancient immortal world, but his top priority was to find the little demon king. When the little demon king was being hunted down by a great overarching golden celestial, he had sent a voice transmission to Yixian saying that they would meet in the devil realm. Yixian could sense that the little demon king was very far away from him. In fact, Yixian had gone back to the place where the little demon king had disappeared to investigate. However, he did not find any clues. Therefore, he wanted to see if there was an entrance to the devil realm in the three great nations. Let's not worry about that for now. Let's take a look at the entrance to the ancient immortal world. Yixian thought to himself and quickly moved. The young man had a map with the location of the entrance to the ancient immortal world recorded on it. So Yixian quickly found it. The entrance was a door, and the ancient immortal token was the key. However, the door was wide open. The ancient immortal token is the only key to enter the ancient immortal world. Now that the gate is open, did that young man forget to close it? Yixian was puzzled. No matter what, he had to close the entrance to the ancient immortal world first. That way, Yixian would be the strongest person in the outer immortal world. Boom! With a loud bang, the entrance to the ancient world of immortals was shut, and the only key was in Yixian's hands. This ancient immortal token had been analyzed by the immortal grade devouring system. If the system said that it was the only key, then it must be the only key. Let's go back and take a look. After closing the entrance to the ancient immortal world, Yixian went through the Eye of the Void and returned to the palace of Tianqin Great Kingdom. At this time, the king of Tianqin Great Kingdom and the others were still waiting in the palace. As soon as Azura Ghost Venerate appeared, his powerful aura made everyone's heart tremble. Now I've closed the entrance to the ancient immortal world. Yixian's eyes fell on the king of Tianqin Great Kingdom. I took one of your interspatial rings. Now I'm going to destroy Haiyuan Great Kingdom as repayment. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. The entrance to the ancient immortal world was closed? Your Excellency, you're going to destroy Haiyuan Great Kingdom? The king of Tianqin Great Kingdom asked in shock. I'm a man of my word, but before that, I want to ask you all, who has news of the demonic world passage? Yixian asked. Demonic world passage? Everyone looked at each other. The demonic world passage has never appeared in Tianqin Great Kingdom, but it did appear once in Qinghong Great Kingdom. The king of Tianqin Great Kingdom looked at General Lu Heng. The demonic world passage did appear once in Qinghong Great Kingdom. It was a one-way passage from the demonic world. Later on, our kingdom sealed it and it's gone now, Lu Heng explained. Can't it be opened again from this side? Yixian asked curiously. No, because it was a one-way passage from the demonic world. Lu Heng shook his head. Since Lu Heng was under Yixian's control, his words could be trusted. Of course, unless Lu Heng himself didn't know. In that case, I'll help you destroy Haiyuan Great Kingdom first. With that, Yixian tore open the void and left, leaving behind a group of stunned people. Haiyuan Great Kingdom, Tianqin Great Kingdom, and Qinghong Great Kingdom had been fighting for countless years. Now that they were destroyed, they couldn't recover from the shock. At this time, Yixian had already arrived at the place where he saw Haiyuan Great Kingdom's general. He Yaowen continued on his way. Wei Zhentian, a 7th-tier Great Golden Immortal, transformed into a flying sword and was faster than the 9th-tier Great Golden Immortal Youth. 2 days later, he charged into Haiyuan Great Kingdom and headed straight for the imperial capital. He was already a 5th-tier Great Golden Immortal, and so was the monarch of Haiyuan Great Kingdom. Therefore, Yixian directly took control of the monarch. Then the entire imperial family was plundered by Yixian. However, these things weren't worth mentioning to Yixian now. After all, they weren't even 1% of what was in the young man's interspatial ring. All the experts of Haiyuan Great Kingdom's imperial family were forcibly taken into the planting space by Yixian, so the entire Haiyuan Great Kingdom was destroyed. Then Yixian tore open the void and returned. From now on, only Qinghong Great Kingdom and Tianqin Great Kingdom were left. I've already searched the place where Little Demon disappeared, but I didn't find anything. It seems that his disappearance was due to his own means. Yixian thought to himself. Little Demon still had a death warrant on him, but since he was so far away from Yixian, his connection was so weak that it was negligible. Therefore, he must have used some sort of secret technique to return to the demon realm. It seems that I have no choice but to enter the ancient immortal world. Yixian sighed. The outer immortal world and the ancient immortal world were actually enveloped by a formation. Encircling the outer immortal world was a faction called Zuantianzong. There were a total of 3 factions in this faction, corresponding to Qinghong Great Kingdom, Tianqin Great Kingdom, and Haiyuan Great Kingdom. Simply put, these three factions were sometimes used to make bets, such as who would win if Qinghong Great Kingdom and Haiyuan Great Kingdom fought. Although the system said that the Ancient Immortal token was the only key to the Ancient Immortal world, it didn't say that others had to enter through the entrance. After all, they were the ones who'd set up the formation, so they had other ways to enter. At this thought, Yi Xian became extremely cautious. Wei Zhentian, try opening the door. Yi Xian handed the Ancient Immortal token to Wei Zhentian for him to open the door. Chapter 1729. Boom! Wei Zhentian transformed into his human form and placed the Ancient Immortal token into the door. In the next moment, the entrance to the Ancient Immortal world opened again. Wei Zhentian quickly entered the Ancient Immortal world and searched the surroundings. However, he did not find anything. Good. Yi Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Then, he used the Eye of the Void to arrive next to Wei Zhentian. Boom! With a muffled sound, the entrance to the Ancient Immortal world closed again. Although that young man is a disciple of Xuantianzong, I've already avenged him. However, I should go to Xuantianzong and have a look first. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes when he arrived at the Ancient Immortal world. In fact, the Ancient Immortal world was the real Immortal world. The outer Immortal world was just a small place. Xuantianzong was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Therefore, Yi Xian had to be careful. Although he had killed the young man, Yi Xian could not search the young man's soul due to his low cultivation base. Therefore, he did not know much about Xuantianzong. My bedevilment points are now at 60 points. If I use time to recover them, I'll only be able to recover 1 point every month. Since I don't have any devour points, I can only find a special treasure to recover them. Yi Xian thought to himself as he stepped on Wei Zhentian and flew towards Xuantianzong. Xuantianzong was not a powerful person in the Ancient Immortal world. However, he was an overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Therefore, Yi Xian had to take him seriously. 3 days later, Yi Xian, who was stepping on the sky-shaking flying sword, finally arrived at the foot of the mysterious sky sect. My cultivation base is not high. I can control it, Yi Xian thought to himself. He was now a grade 5 great overarching golden celestial, which was similar to Xuantianzong's outer court disciples. At that moment, he remotely controlled a few of the Black Heaven sect's outer sect disciples, who were at the level of Tier 5 great overarching golden immortals, and transformed into one of them. Yi Xian entered Xuantianzong's inner court. After searching the soul of a disciple, he learned about the internal conflicts in Xuantianzong. There were 3 branches in Xuantianzong, led by the sect leader, the Grand Elder, and the Enforcement Elder. They corresponded to the Azure Rainbow Nation, Tianqin Nation, and Haiyuan Nation. The relationship between these 3 branches wasn't very good. In recent years, the sect master and Grand Elder's 2 branches were still quite good. Thus, the Outer Immortal World's Green Rainbow Great Country and Tianqin Great Country were preparing for a political marriage. In other words, the law-enforcing elder in the Black Heaven sect was being suppressed. After all, the law-enforcing elder had too much power. If there was a chance, he could even dismiss the sect leader. The outer sect disciple that Yi Xian controlled was under the command of the law-enforcing elder. However, Yi Xian wasn't interested in this kind of power struggle. What he wanted to do was to find heavenly and earthly treasures that could lower the bewitching value of a hall. He looked at all the items listed in the Hall of Alchemy and only found one. It could only reduce one's bewitchment by 1 point and cost him a lot of money. What a tragedy! Yi Xian couldn't help but say in his heart. It couldn't be helped. After all, he had only become an immortal for less than a year. In a year, he had broken through from an immortal to a golden immortal. This breakthrough speed was so fast that even the immortal level devouring system couldn't stand it anymore. But then, suddenly, an 8th grade great overarching golden immortal entered the alchemy hall. Senior brother, I've completed the hunting mission. I'm here to receive my reward. He was an inner court disciple. He walked to the counter and handed a sheepskin scroll to the disciple in charge of the Hall of Alchemy. Junior brother, you're amazing. You completed the mission. I'll go get your reward now. After the Hall of Alchemy deacon finished speaking, he left quickly. Soon he returned with a heaven and earth treasure. When Yixian saw the heaven and earth treasure, his eyes almost popped out. The tranquil sacred lotus? Yixian raised an eyebrow. The tranquil sacred lotus was exactly what he was looking for. It could reduce one's bewitchment by 5 points. It turned out that the items listed in the Hall of Alchemy weren't everything. Some were used as mission rewards. What a coincidence! Yixian happened to run into them. An 8th grade golden immortal. Even Wei Zhentian could kill him in an instant. But this is Xuantianzong. I can sense many auras more powerful than that young man. I'd better be careful. Yixian looked at the 8th grade golden immortal. He was planning how to lure him out of Xuantianzong and steal the tranquil sacred lotus. Just as Yixian was wondering what was going on, the 8th grade golden immortal suddenly turned to look at him and said in surprise, "Eh? You're here too, cousin?" When Yixian heard this, he trembled and turned to look. He saw the inner sect disciple who'd obtained the tranquil sacred lotus looking at him. Yixian's current appearance was that of a 5th grade golden immortal outer sect disciple. He didn't expect that he'd disguised himself as this inner sect disciple's younger cousin. He quickly searched through his memories and found that he really did know this person. This was going to be fun. "Congratulations, cousin," Yixian hurriedly said with a smile. "Cousin, you have to cultivate well. In another 10,000 years, you might become an inner sect disciple." The inner sect disciple said in a serious tone, "Thank you for your kind words, cousin." Yixian suddenly transmitted his voice to the inner sect disciple. "Cousin, I have a secret that I want to tell you." "Oh? What secret?" The inner sect disciple's eyes lit up when he saw Yixian transmitting his voice. "Let's not talk about it. Why don't you just come with me, cousin?" Yixian said mysteriously. "Where are you taking me, cousin?" The inner sect disciple didn't suspect anything. After all, his cousin was his aunt's son and they were very close. "Cousin, you'll know when we get there. Who knows, you might be able to use this opportunity to become a 9th grade golden immortal." Yixian kept him in suspense. A 9th grade golden immortal. The inner sect disciple trembled and hurriedly grabbed Yixian and left the weapon refinement hall. Then he summoned a flying sword and left Xuantianzong. Yixian and the inner sect disciple shared a flying sword. He stood behind the inner sect disciple and smiled slightly. "The tranquil sacred lotus is mine." Under Yixian's guidance, the 8th grade golden immortal inner sect disciple flew north for a full hour. "Cousin, what are you talking about? Tell me quickly. I can't wait," the inner sect disciple asked curiously. After all, this matter concerned his cultivation. This must be a fortuitous encounter. "All right, I'll tell you then." The corner of Yixian's mouth curled up as he said, "Actually, I'm not your cousin." As soon as he said that, Yixian summoned the Skyquake sword and slashed horizontally, instantly chopping off the inner sect disciple's head. The most important thing for immortals was their immortal heart. As long as their immortal heart wasn't broken, they wouldn't die. A mere head was nothing to him. "Cousin, what did you say?" Chapter 1730. But before he could react, his universe ring had already fallen into Yixian's hands. Not only that, but a hand had also appeared in front of his chest, pinching his immortal heart with unerring accuracy. "Give up resisting, or your immortal heart will shatter in the next moment," Yixian solemnly reminded him. The inner sect disciple felt his immortal heart being pinched and exerted force. If he didn't obey, he was afraid he would immediately die. However, he didn't know what Yixian meant by giving up resisting. In the next moment he understood. On the way here, Yixian had secretly used Force Devour on this person. Originally, with 18 points of luck, the success rate of Force Devour should have been high, but this time it failed. However, there were times when one's luck was bad, and Yixian could understand. Thus, he used the normal method to put this person into the planting space. "Seeing that you're the cousin of the person I'm impersonating, and that you gave me the tranquil sacred lotus, I'll spare your life." Yixian grinned and threw this person into a corner of the planting space. Ding! The host has devoured a tranquil sacred lotus. Bewitchment points decreased by 5. In addition to the 1 point just now, Yixian's bewitchment points had dropped to 54 points. If he worked a little harder, it could be reduced to less than half. However, it had to be said that the amount of heaven and earth treasures required for bewitchment points was related to the level of the current realm. If Yixian was a 6th-stage great golden immortal, the amount of heaven and earth treasures he required would definitely be more precious than now. After all, he was only a 5th-stage great golden immortal. First, I'll lower my bewitchment points to less than 50 points, then I'll consider leveling up. Yixian thought to himself again. Otherwise, he wouldn't be at ease leveling up. Moreover, what he had now was not enough for him to break through. After that, Yixian stepped on his flying sword and returned to Xuantianzong. Then he found the inner sect disciples' residence and ransacked it, but he still couldn't break through. However, he found something interesting in the interspatial ring that he had hidden. There's an explanation of the demonic realm passage, and there's a lot of information. Yixian's eyes lit up. He did not understand why an inner sect disciple would be interested in the demonic world passage. Could it be that Xuantianzong wanted to open a passage to the demon realm and then have a great battle? It seemed that he had encountered a good thing. Wasn't his goal also to find a passageway to the demon realm and then go to the demon realm? At this time he thought of another thing. The passage to the demonic realm was not so easy to open. It would take at least years. Perhaps it would take hundreds or even thousands of years. One had to know that time was nothing to immortals. Looks like I still have to investigate thoroughly. Maybe the immortal grade devouring system can speed up the opening of the passage to the demonic realm. Yixian thought to himself. The immortal grade devouring system had many uses. It could repair teleportation arrays and speed up the opening of the passage to the demonic realm. However, there was another problem. He was only an outer sect disciple. How was he going to investigate? However, just as he was feeling puzzled, a group of figures suddenly appeared in the sky. They were all dressed in black. Their auras were so powerful that they had surpassed the level of great overarching golden celestials. They were all overarching heavenly supreme celestials. When they released their auras, the entire Xuantianzong shook. Demonic cultivators. They're all demonic cultivators. No, the demonic cultivators are attacking. Everyone, get into formation. All the disciples of Xuantianzong could sense the demonic aura from the demonic cultivators. At the same time, the higher-ups of Xuantianzong also rushed out. Xuantianzong, right? Today is the day that your sect will be annihilated. Kill. The leader of this group of Xioma devil cultivators gives a loud shout, directly setting off a reign of terror. No one would have thought that this group of demonic cultivators would come and kill as they pleased. At the same time, somewhere in Xuantianzong, 3 Xuantianzong elders were looking at the scene in surprise. Enforcement elder, what's going on? Didn't we say that we would attack in 3 days? One of the elders looked at the white-haired old man standing in the middle. The white-haired old man shook his head and said, "No, they're not the demonic cultivators from Hyman Mountain." "Oh, then they're from somewhere else. Why are they attacking Xuantianzong?" "The leader is a grade 5 overarching heavenly supreme celestial. Let the sect leader and the supreme elder deal with them. If they're injured, it'll be easier for us to carry out our mission in 3 days," the white-haired old man said with a faint smile. "In that case, let's enter seclusion immediately. Otherwise, people will say that we're not helping." There were more than a dozen demonic cultivators attacking Xuantianzong. The weakest among them was a grade 3 overarching heavenly supreme celestial. In addition, devil cultivators had strong physiques, and were slightly stronger than immortal cultivators at the same level. Therefore, even if the sect master and grand supreme elder of Profound Sky sect joined forces, they still wouldn't be able to get rid of this group of devil cultivators in a short time. "How dare you attack my Xuantianzong? Die!" A loud roar was heard. Several experts with strong auras charged out from the center of the Black Heaven sect, and started fighting with this group of demonic cultivators in an instant. Meanwhile, Yixian, an outer court disciple, was deep in thought as he watched the battle in the sky. They don't seem that strong. If Ghost Venerate Azura and Wei Jintian join forces, they should be able to deal with one of them. If I can obtain a corpse, I might be able to lower my bedevilment points. At that time, both Ghost Venerate Azura and Wei Jintian will be able to become overarching heavenly supreme celestials. After pondering for a moment, Yixian decided to wait and observe the situation first. They did not have to kill the demonic cultivators, but they had to obtain the corpse. The demonic cultivators had 1 grade 5 overarching heavenly supreme celestial, 2 Grade 4 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials, and the rest were Grade 3 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials. The demonic cultivators had already defeated many forces in the area. Now that they had arrived at the Xuantianzong, they did not expect the Xuantianzong to have so many experts. The sect leader and supreme elder of Xuantianzong were Grade 5 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials. They had 4 Grade 4 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials and more than 20 Grade 3 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials under their command. Clearly, the demonic cultivators were at a disadvantage. How dare you provoke the Xuantianzong? You're courting death. One of the Xuantianzong exalted celestials shouted furiously. The flying sword he controlled turned into a streak of light and pierced the devil heart of one of the demonic cultivators. This is a good opportunity. Yixian's eyes lit up when he saw this. He immediately summoned Ghost Venerate Azura Wei Zhentian, and the old tree who was a Grade 8 Great Overarching Golden Celestial. In just a blink of an eye, 3 of them appeared near the corpse. 9 dragons galloping thunder. The old tree appeared next to the corpse in a flash and took the interspatial ring. Then Yixian quickly stored the interspatial ring in his storage space. Chapter 1731. Success. Yixian grinned. The reason why the old tree was able to take away the interspatial ring was mainly because Azura Ghost Venerate had used the grasp of the underworld on the assassin. The old tree, Azura Ghost Venerate, and Wei Zhentian had disappeared not long after they appeared. Some people did not even see them. Be careful. There are still hidden enemies. The expert from Xuantianzong immediately reacted and shouted. Everyone became more cautious when they heard this. However, the devil cultivators were puzzled. Who were the hidden enemies? Damn it! The people from Hyman Mountain gave us false information. This Xuantianzong is a tough nut to crack. Retreat! The leader of the devil cultivators shouted and retreated quickly. After them. Leave no one alive. Sect leader Xuantianzong shouted. Be careful of the ambush. Xuantianzong's Grand Supreme Elder said through voice transmission. Since these devil cultivators dared to attack Xuantianzong with so few people, they must be up to no good. Therefore they should not pursue them. Xuantianzong agreed with sect leader Xuantianzong's words. He only chased them out of Xuantianzong. However, since they outnumbered the devil cultivators, they did not suffer any casualties. On the other hand, the devil cultivators lost 3 Grade 3 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials. Of course, those disciples had died unjustly. After the demonic Xiamoist left, the sect master of the Black Heaven sect turned his head and asked in astonishment, Elder Lin, what did you mean by a hidden enemy? I'm not sure. Just now I clearly pierced a demonic cultivator's heart with my flying sword. But in the next moment, a figure took away his Qian Kuan ring. Even his corpse was gone, replied Elder Lin. A figure? What's his cultivation base? Sect leader Xuantianzong asked in shock. Elder Lin was a Grade 3 Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. How could his loot be taken away? I sensed an 8th stage Great Overarching Golden Celestial. Apart from that, there was also a 9th stage Great Overarching Golden Celestial controlling me from afar. Elder Lin explained. 8th stage or 9th stage Great Overarching Golden Immortal. How is this possible? Even a 2nd Grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial would find it difficult to steal the spoils under Elder Lin's watch, let alone a Great Overarching Golden Celestial. Elder Lin, are you sure? Sect leader Xuantianzong continued to ask. I'm very sure. I've clearly killed a demonic cultivator. I definitely didn't fall for his illusions. Elder Lin nodded. At this time, another elder at the side said, Yes, I saw it too. It's really strange. He disappeared in the blink of an eye. It seems that there are still hidden experts in Xuantianzong. Investigate, investigate, Xuantianzong said. He speculated the young man's cultivation base was higher than Elder Lin's. He was a 4th Grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. That was why Elder Lin had misjudged the young man's cultivation base. While everyone was discussing this matter, Yixian had already hidden himself far away. He had already put away the corpse of the 3rd Grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial along with his interspatial ring. Damn! So many things. I'm going to make a killing this time. Yixian was shocked when he checked the interspatial ring. He speculated that if he had a breakthrough now, he would be able to break through from a 5th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial to an 8th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial or even a 9th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial. Unfortunately, he could not increase his bedevilment points now that he had obtained a bedevilment point. Fortunately, there were many good items in the interspatial ring. Yixian's bedevilment points were reduced to 40 points. Therefore, he should be able to break through now. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is currently a 6th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial. Ding! Lightning Embers has broken through. Host is currently a 9th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial. Ding! Wei Juntian has broken through. Host is currently a 1st grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. Ding! Ghost Venerate Azura has broken through. Host is currently a 1st grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. Ding! Host's bedevilment points have increased to 75 points. A series of system notifications rang in the air. Yixian had only broken through once, but his bedevilment points had increased from 40 points to 75 points. If he broke through again, he would definitely be bedeviled. My cultivation base has increased too quickly. Sigh. Yixian could only sigh. Although he had plenty of cultivation resources, he could not devour them. This was not a good feeling. Currently, he was a 6th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial while the corpse of the 3rd grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial was a 6th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial. The difference in their cultivation bases was so great that it would take him a long time to perform a soul search. However, this was a devil cultivator. Who knew if he came from the devil realm? With such a huge difference in their cultivation bases, Yixian was mentally prepared. However, on the 3rd day of the soul search, he sensed powerful auras around Xuantianzong. What powerful auras? There are so many experts. Are they trying to destroy Xuantianzong? Yixian recovered from the soul search. The auras of the devil cultivators were 3 times stronger than 3 days ago. There were at least 3 5th grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials. It seemed like there was going to be a big battle. Yixian loved this kind of big battle the most. He hurriedly put away the corpse of the devil cultivator and went out to observe. As an outer court disciple, he could not participate in such a big battle. However, he wanted to join in and see if he could get some corpses. At this moment, many figures were standing in front of Xuantianzong's mountain gate. These people were all dressed in black. There were more than 100 of them, and the weakest among them was a 9th grade Great Overarching Golden Celestial. Their combined strength was not to be underestimated. As for Xuantianzong's side, they had already begun to gather their men after the sect leader, and the Supreme Elder had sensed the auras of the devil cultivators. This time, the people from the Enforcement Elders faction had gathered as well. If a fight broke out, Xuantianzong would not lose to these devil cultivators. However, things were not as simple as they seemed. The Hyman Mountain, a new force that has risen recently? The sect leader of Xuantianzong narrowed his eyes slightly as he looked at the newcomers. Are all of you here to die today? Die. Sect leader, you must be joking. Look at us. Do we look like we're here to die? A person suddenly stepped forward. It was the leader of the devil cultivators who had been defeated 3 days ago. Previously, he had been used by the people from Hyman Mountain to test Xuantianzong's strength. After that, he had caused a huge ruckus on Hyman Mountain. In the end, he had reached an agreement with the leader of Hyman Mountain to occupy Xuantianzong together. He was a 5th grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial. Together with the 2 leaders of Hyman Mountain, there were 3 of them. Xuantianzong also had 3 5th grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestials. However, unbeknownst to them, the 3rd 5th grade Overarching Heavenly Supreme Celestial in Xuantianzong's camp had colluded with the people from Hyman Mountain. Let's cut the crap. Celestials and devils can't coexist. Die. The sect leader of Xuantianzong shouted furiously as he made his move. Cultivators usually fought with flying swords. If they gathered together, they would have an advantage in a group fight.